All right, we got, just about there, sports fans.
It's my understanding that that's gonna be for breast milk. I don't think you want that.
It is.
We don't want Phil going in there and getting a drink.
No, you gotta stay out of that one, Phil.
Phil have creamer for his coffee.
Today, this
I love
morning.
coffee.
I did, on this,
Yeah.
I got that. So
However you
Christopher,
say
how's it
it.
going?
Good.
What time do you have on the?
Oh, apparently we're live, by the way.
We shouldn't be yet.
I'm wearing my mascots. And
What are we doing?
All right, we'll call this October 26, 2021 scheduled session of court is according to order. And we'll start with an invocation by Magistrate Phil Sammons.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Let us pray. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you today with some of us with heavy hearts over some incidents that just happened recently in our city of Perryville. Lord, we don't understand, or we're not meant to understand. Only you know why things like this should happen, Lord. Lord, we just ask you comfort these families that we're speaking of. And Lord, we thank you so much for the many, many blessings that, oh God, we do so often just forget and overlook. And Lord, I'm so sorry for that. Lord, we just ask you to be with all of our service people, our EMS and our police departments. And most of all, God, please be with our military people throughout the world that are giving us a protection, Lord, we sit here and enjoy today. Lord, just be with them and be with their families that so many are homesick, and Lord, we understand and we don't understand too. And there's many suicides in our service departments throughout the world. We know that a lot of it's loneliness and whatever, Lord. And we ask you to be with them and comfort them, oh God. Lord, we just ask you to be with this court, and may we always say and do the right thing. It's the best for our constituents and to move this county forward, God. We ask you to be with us now. In the name of Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen.
All right. Follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please, if you will.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting.
All right, we have a motion to approve the minutes from, do you want to lump the regular, last meeting and the special call meeting together?
Yes, sir.
All right, is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Motion made by Magistrate Sammons, seconded by Magistrate Gay to approve the minutes from both the regular and the special call meeting. Comments, changes, questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. And next, we need to approve some bills, and you have those in your folder. And, Jackie, what do we have here?
our standing orders are $323,651.79, and the bills to be paid is $209,059.82.
Move we pay the bills as presented.
Okay. We have a motion by Magistrate Gay and seconded by Magistrate Sammons to pay the bills as presented. Questions, comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
I'm trying to take Short's place.
Okay. Well, hopefully he's watching in his current state of being
You'll
off.
be proud of me, Ronnie. I'm taking your place, buddy.
There you go. Budget transfers.
no budget or cash transfers.
or cash transfers.
That's good.
That is good. We'll save that for maybe the newspaper makes something, right? Okay. I'll start out, the first on my calendar is, I just thought, since, the court had decided, to bring, the mandatory mask update for the courthouse, it's been now nearly 2 months ago. A lot of things have changed. A lot of people, I'm just making an assessment of walking around the community and everything and visiting different places. There's a lot of people that are without masks, some with masks, at some of our major shopping and retail areas in the community. I did talk to, our health department about the mask, issue, and we are orange heading toward yellow. So we've come down considerably in those 2 months, heading in the right direction. I just want to throw it out as something to consider.
I agree with you, Judge, and also I did get a note just now for everybody to make sure to either speak up or speak into a mic. They're having a difficult time hearing us, so,
Who is?
I don't know. The public.
The public, yeah.
So, I agree that I think we're in a much better position, and I would be comfortable if we went to, I think if we moved to recommend it, or
Here's something we could put out. It's just something to
or
think about.
suggest it, and, because I do think
Good.
it should be encouraged, people still should be encouraged to wear masks indoors. Because again, I want to go back to the fact that
Jason.
you're actually wearing your mask to protect others as much as you're wearing it to protect yourself. So
Amen.
the biggest thing is, we all are out and about and in places where masks aren't being worn, and so it's important that you wear your mask to protect others. So I think it's fine to make it encouraged or recommended or appreciated, but it's important to remember that masks do still play an important role.
I agree with Jamie. We were at a meeting yesterday in Mercer County, and they have a sign now where they now are optional going into their courthouse. And it was encouraging yesterday to hear the governor talk about the sliding scale of cases accelerating. He was excited about it. And two other things that I heard: there are several hospitals in Kentucky that are considering making masks optional for visitors. There are 1 or 2 hospitals that are going to lighten the visitation by family members, which is very encouraging to those of us who might have folks in the hospital. And then the other thing that was on the news this morning is Jessamine County schools are going to go to optional masks for the staff and kids and teachers on Monday.
Well, I know that here in this building in particular, people that are frequenting the building for whatever business purpose that they may have are, encounter, and they're doing their job. Our court security and bailiffs are doing their job, and I just, some people have said, why are you guys doing it? There's a lot of other places not doing it, so I just wanted to, throw it out for consideration.
Since I was the one that actually proposed it, my main reason was for the staff of the courthouse. This is not Mercer County. We have a lot of people that come in and out of this building because we've got the courts upstairs, that we've got a lot of exposure, and it was mainly to protect the staff that we have here, who are the ones that are actually worried about catching things. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to see anyone get sick or worse because, they are exposed to so much. There's only so much plexiglass or whatever. So that was the main reason. We had concerns of people as the numbers were rising. They were worried about getting sick. They were worried about other things. They were worried about infecting their families. So that was the main reason that we did this. And I think it's good to be proactive. But I will say that if we're going to lift the mask mandate, we also need to make these meetings open to the public again.
I don't disagree with that.
So
So
if we feel comfortable about
And
people
I-
coming and going without masks, then the meetings need to be open as well.
Yeah.
So,
What else? I think this is fine. I would like to maybe ask the court to consider some additional wording in relation to this. For everyone's protection, that be added, because it gives a reason to do this. So you're basically saying, protect everybody, and for everyone's protection, something verbalized like that, mask appreciated. I would just add that to it to give them a reason to do it.
I just
Safety
wonder
for
about-
everybody.
Thank you, John, I'm sorry. I just wonder about, I hope that a lot of us, a lot of areas are not going overboard too quick. Jessamine County Schools, for example, I hope that those kids are not exposed, and there's a bunch of them that come down with COVID. This thing when it hits you, the way I understand it, it don't kid around with you. I have a good friend, I've told y'all that died with it. He would not be vaccinated. I have another good friend, neighbor, good friend who would not be vaccinated. Been in the hospital a little over a week over here, and it's touch or go. I don't know where he made it through the night last night or not. Blood clots in his lungs. So it's not a joke. It's here for real. And I'm with my friend and counterpart over there. We did this for the staff and so on, and I know we're lifting it, and I think it's probably a good idea. I'm not sure we can open it up to the public just yet. I'm not for that, because you start bringing everybody in, a lot of them are gonna be exposed, and they're gonna bring a lot of stuff in and
You talking about into the courtroom or
into
where?
the courtroom.
Well, I understand what you're saying. My feelings are that if we're okay exposing our staff to the public, then we shouldn't.
I've had a phone call that asked that you all speak into the microphones, they can't hear you.
The microphones might
They're
not be
all-
working.
they're
We're
all on.
speaking as loud, they're all on.
This is our normal.
Can you
thing.
hear me?
Well,
Well,
they're,
I don't know, they're not on. I'm sorry to interrupt. but-
No, I mean, we're aware of that. I don't know what else we can do. They're all on.
I didn't have mine very close. I don't know whether that meant anything or not. John?
No, appreciate it. Appreciate it very
Yes,
much.
yes, thank you, Miss,
I was gonna say, if you lift it, like, for the common areas, I would ask that you leave it up to the department heads, you know, for example, the county clerk, the sheriff, if, whether or not that they wanna still require masks, you know, in their offices.
good point.
I mean, 'cause some offices aren't very big, like in this courthouse, so that's what I would ask, just that if you
Good point.
allow us to make that call for that.
I agree with him.
Are you gonna be able to provide, or reckon these individual officers will be able to provide masks to those who enter without them?
I'll get some masks.
Okay. I'm just asking. I'm not trying to, you know.
Well, these
Yeah.
blue masks like I had on are not very expensive, like Jamie's got one on. A lot of places have a box of them. I know when you go in the Keiko building, we've got a box of
Can
them
you
on
hear
the
us?
right.
I can hear it fine. It's on YouTube. I can hear someone saying that they can't hear you, you're muffled, and they can't hear you, but I'm on the feed right now, and I can hear us clear as day.
Can you hear me?
I hear it over here.
I wouldn't worry about it, because Bill's got these mics pressed out, so.
Yeah. Well, I'll
He's
try
got
to bring it closer so we can hear, but, John, I think you make a good recommendation for everybody's protection. It could be added, you know.
Well, that's up to everybody around the table. It's just, it gives a reason to do it, and which I think is important, to give people a reason to do something that makes sense. And everybody's safety is a reason for all of us to
Yeah.
think about it. Now, Chris, I understand what you're saying, totally, but as you said it, it came to my mind, it creates confusion.
Yeah, who does and who doesn't?
And
He
that's,
said-
your point's well made, and I appreciate your point, don't please misunderstand me. But it creates confusion if you need your mask for one office, but you don't need it for the next office. I can see confusion within the public's eye, and Lord knows, there's been a lot of confusion through all of the last 2 years anyway, so, just think about it. But I understand your point, and your point's well made.
So,
Well, he's talking about though, John, the way I understand what Chris said is he's leaving it up to each department head only. And when you go in that department, if they wanna wear a mask, that's fine. If they don't, that's fine. Right, Chris?
Well, that's what I was saying, but he was saying how, well, if you let them in the common area, then if, one office, the sheriff says, no, you don't have to wear a mask, and then the PVA says you do, or whatever, then that creates confusion. I just assume that, everybody these days, knowing that how there's mask requirements for a lot of places, that most people carry around a mask with them, but,
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Then you see a football game where everybody's elbow to elbow, shoulder to shoulder, and nobody's got a mask on. So it
but
gets,
it's outdoors.
yes, but it gets confusing.
I know.
Let's make it simple.
That's all right.
If we
Let's move
can.
right along.
Well, it was brought in by a vote. I think we should have a vote to go with a suggestion like mask appreciated or something like that to change it for the courthouse. So,
I make a motion that we change our policy to mask appreciated for, what's the wording, John, 10?
For everyone's safety,
For
or
everyone's
for your
safety.
safety, or something to the fact,
For
I
my
think-
safety and yours.
all of this all of this has to do with safety for each other. And
Yeah.
how we word it, I think it should be expressed.
How about this? For the health and protection of others, masks
Yes.
appreciated.
Yes,
Something like
okay?
that.
that's great.
I second the motion.
that sounds good. So you
Yeah.
made a motion
Yes, sir.
to go with that language, and it was seconded by Magistrate Ellis. All right, further discussion. And we can, under a separate motion or vote, open up to the public, but I think it's time to start doing that if we're doing this for the courthouse, okay? I agree.
Yeah.
So, but let's vote on this. Any comments, discussion? All those in favor of, the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The motion carries unanimously. Now, I don't think we need a motion, but is everybody in agreement that we can open up, or do we not open up? This small room without any plexiglass to public viewing.
Get some plexiglass then.
We have to have a cage.
Right now. I really don't. I don't think we need to open it. What do you think, Jamie?
I would feel better if we were in a larger space.
I would too.
I don't know,
Is there a
The fire
limit, is there
station-
still a limit on people
no,
in the
not
space?
necessarily, but this
They're
is a
not?
small, compact space.
This is the hand we're dealt. We want to
If
be.
we watch that new trend for 2 weeks, we could come back with the issue then.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Why is our safety so much more important than the rest of the building? I don't understand that. Trille's office is much smaller than ours. I mean, they're within, and yeah, they have those little plexiglass, but this plexiglass I'm baffled by this, because why are we better than anyone else in this courthouse? Why are we saying that Chris's office can't have a mask mandate when they're real tight in there, but we should still have that barrier? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I'm fine with inviting the public in, personally, but, we'll have to tighten up this, arrangement so we can put some chairs out over here. It doesn't bother me.
I'm well aware.
But we can do it with a vote today, or we can wait and do it, but I agree with, Magistrate Cullen that, we're kinda putting ourselves in a different category if it's not so good here.
Right, if we're elbow to elbow at the stadiums, or
What bothers me is, I'm sitting here looking at one of our employees that's had issues with this and probably still not real comfortable with it. Am I correct? So I want to make sure we protect everyone. And she's very important to this court. And we want to really protect her and anyone else.
I agree completely. That's why I'm saying we can't.
Yes.
I mean, she has she's right at that door when it opens, and people come in all the time.
Will the courtroom upstairs be available?
No,
Not necessarily.
no. I mean, they're back to court sessions. Those things are
Yeah,
full.
and they gotta play a lot of catch-up too.
Yeah.
Is the fire station available for us to
Yeah.
have meetings out
Yeah.
there?
In the library?
I would library.
I'd rather go to the fire station.
Fire station.
I think
Well,
that
let's
type of
take-
space,
In fact, I'd like to maybe consider taking some of these on the road to some other
Absolutely.
communities.
Yeah, that's what we used, we did
We
that a long
talked
time
about it
ago, didn't we,
a couple
John?
of years ago.
You know, I'd like to go to Perryville and Forkland and Junction City.
That would be wonderful.
it will
We
be,
had a-
but on that, we do, now that we do this and the video, we have to keep in mind.
I
that
know,
it's
'cause it-
important to be able to take that on the road too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
What that does to
that-
Bill and
that-
our technologies.
It does
people.
complex it, it'll make it more complex.
Yeah.
So we'll have to speak with Bill to see if he can get the fire station, mic'd up and
Like
videoed
that,
up,
yeah.
but
That'd be a good place.
that,
Well,
and that's what we should be striving for as well.
I think we should be striving for that as well, I
We really
agree,
need to
so,
figure a way
this
to-
is just a small confined space without any plexiglass, to get away. If we brought 10 or 12 people in here, it adds, you know, quite a bit of stress on the square foot, you know, spacing kind of thing.
Yeah, impossible.
So, why don't we postpone this being open until I can find another location like the fire station on Lebanon Road to see if we can utilize that for, and be, you know, broadcast from there.
But-
In theory, then we could be there in 2 weeks.
But we're not allowing the directors of the different departments to have their own mask thing. It's either all or none kind of things that we're at.
Well, it's not all or none. I
think
don't
they'd have the
believe that
discretion.
if they wanna ask people to do it, they can ask people to do it. They just gotta be able to provide it for them. I mean, you know, this is not an abolishment of the mask.
No.
It's just it lightens or loosens the restriction.
Firehouse is not gonna be an option, I can tell you that right now. Bill just sent me a message about,
About it wiring up out there?
no, not wiring it up. I was just at the fire committee meeting last week, and the biggest issue they're having is internet out there. And that's one of the things Bill said he needs. He says, as long as there's decent internet, we can make it happen. They don't have decent internet. It's pretty terrible out there.
That might be a real limiting factor as we desire to put it on the road too.
That Junction City place is pretty nice, the facility.
The new
Yes,
fire
it is.
station over there,
I don't know if they
City
have
Hall.
Great internet or not, that's.
No, it
Well,
is-
and
that is
I don't
nice,
know why
but-
people reacted about the library, because I talked to them 2 years ago, and they would welcome us being in the basement where you can put over 100 people, because I was in there with a meeting of 92 one time.
There's no airflow in that bottom part. That
It's still, it's worth considering, but what about for right now? As
I
far as
think
this
we
one
just
goes.
continue doing what we're doing right now, till we get everything to the.
Again, the trend is brand new. It's a
Yes.
very optimistic, positive trend.
Is that okay with everybody until we can find a larger location to invite the public to be in with us?
Right.
I think it would be nice to kind of get Brent back here to kind of help us get an understanding of why the trend is going down the way it
What about
I will invite him for the first November court session. I talked to him yesterday on the phone, and it is going down, and he said 2 more weeks, it could be significantly more.
What about,
Why? What has changed from when it went up to what's making it go down? There's always a reason why things go up and down. So why is it going down?
The nationwide
I don't know.
reports are the cooler weather.
I didn't ask him that question, he just said it was going
I
down.
just want to make sure we're not jumping the gun on anything.
we might even check with, Mr. Blevins on the location there, that, you know, maybe having a court meeting, what's wrong with having it at the health department?
Downstairs in the basement there?
Stairs in
It's
the basement.
bigger, but not
Parking.
huge.
Oh, it's a pretty good sized room,
Parking.
twice as big as this.
Parking would be a limiting.
This
Yeah,
this
that's
really
what I-
needs us to where we need to get back on track of trying to figure out how we're going to enlarge this courthouse, and the things, the improvements we need
Well,
to make. So
We're kinda on track to do that, that's, can't happen quick enough, but that we're on track to discuss it with people in Frankfurt.
yeah,
But
well,
it's still a couple of years away.
It will be, and you know, our desire may not meet their desire halfway, and, you know, what we wanna do to expand the office facility of this campus and compound may not be received as well as we think it should be, so.
Yeah.
But we have a plan, approach, and we even have a scheduled appointment to go talk.
good. Okay.
So we'll leave it for here, right now, broadcast to the public. and we'll try and find alternate locations that can meet those, both standards.
Good
Give
enough.
it Phil, he thinks he's got a solution, so.
Okay. All right. Review and discuss
We have
EMA
to
job.
vote.
Huh?
We have to vote.
We have to.
Did we vote or no?
No, not on this. We're just,
No, but we didn't vote on the
Yeah, we did.
master.
yeah, we did.
Oh, did we?
Yeah,
All right.
You voted affirmative.
we did.
Sure, we sure did.
Okay.
Yeah. He voted for it and can't remember. That guy's getting old. You're
I'm in your
charge.
old seat, that's what it is.
Which class?
All right. The next on the agenda is discuss, review the EMA job description that we have in the binder. The reason I want to bring that to the forefront is that, as we all know, Mike Wilder's been doing a great job for several years, and he has informed me of his intent to retire the last day of this calendar year, which is December 31st. And now, what I would like to do, if this job description, he's out there, I think, and he can come in to talk about it. I believe he's out there.
I'd like to see him regardless.
Oh. Where's his hat?
All right,
Hey.
Mike,
Hey.
we're starting to talk about the proposed announcement of your position going forward.
Talk.
And you have reviewed these job descriptions, and they are sufficient to move forward with advertising this as a future opening for somebody.
Well, first of all, I just kind of want to make a point that sometimes this little position is overlooked in a way, and a lot of times it can be, because it's kind of in the background. There's a lot of other things that have priority, but,
You might want to consider, it, just for clarity on your microphone.
okay, is that all right?
Yes, sir.
Better? But when things really get bad, then emergency management is where you have to turn. If you're looking at loss of life and destruction of property and government not running right, those are things that emergency management can be of great assistance with. It's pretty important at some time. But anyway, needless to say, I don't know, does everybody know how my salary is paid? Is everybody aware of that, or do I need to touch base with that?
Just give us a quick,
Right.
High level will be good.
We file each year for a grant from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, if you will, called EMPG, Emergency Management PG, what is it? I can't even think of it. Whatever, EMPG is what I always call it. Anyway, they will pay a certain percentage of my salary each year. In order to do that, we have to jump through several hoops. And it can be, there's an awful lot of paperwork involved in this job. And the person that does that doesn't need to be a red light chaser or a siren runner or something like that. Yes, you have to do it occasionally. But your job is more in the office than it is anywhere else, very honestly. And planning is a great thing of it and all. But anyway, they will pay up to a certain percent. So less than 20% of my salary is paid by the MPG grant. Now, on the other hand, the city of Danville, of which is a joint effort between the two, they will pay half of what the EMPG grant pays. So, for instance, this year was right at $20,000 is what we got from EMPG. Entitled to that, the city is responsible for right at 10. So we got about $30,000 that is paid towards my salary. So I've always been the opinion the EM director is probably one of the best buys the county's got. And I firmly believe that. That's how it's done, and, you know, any questions, a lot of these things that we've listed in the job description could be tweaked a little, but for all practical purposes, it's pretty well basic what it is, and quite a lot to do. Anything else?
Mike, I've written down 3 things: credentialing, certification, and training. I've already had an inquiry from somebody who would be interested in the position. To my knowledge, he has no experience whatsoever. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with somebody coming in here without knowledge, certification of some sort, credentialing of some sort, and an understanding that he or she is going to be in intensive training immediately and ongoing.
Well, it's, right off the bat, you have to have 40 hours.
And what's the category of?
Well, it's introduction to emergency management. All of these things that we talk about down here are included, and they hit on, there's an instructor that comes for each one of them.
And is that earned on the job once they're here, the 40 hours?
Yes, yes.
So
it
they
is.
don't have to come in with that?
No. But, Tom, I'm like you, I fully, in full agreement with that.
Who's doing the instruction?
I'm sorry,
Who's doing the instruction?
state people, state
State
work for
people will
state
come
emergency
in and do
management.
it. The state,
KEM.
Yeah,
they'll come here and do it.
no,
They go to Frankfurt.
they'll do it at the EOC in Frankfurt.
Okay.
You go over statute, you go over the requirements for the position, all the laws, you learn basic emergency management 101, incident command system,
All
how to
that.
deal with things, which he could teach the course.
And there's a whole lot of courses that have to be taken as far as requirements too. There's about 8 different courses that have to be completed actually before you're certified. Pretty tough.
What period of time is this, Mike?
Well, I don't know that they're gonna give you a year.
Talking about-
A year usually is what they say from the time you're
To
hired.
get certified?
Yeah, to get certified, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Tom's talking about background before the hiring process. Is
I'd love
that
to see
right,
some of
Tom?
that.
Yeah.
A little bit of what their individual historic background is that, that's where you're headed?
Absolutely, yeah. I can imagine someone with years of emergency medical services, somebody with medical training, somebody could come out of a corporate environment with a similar type of
Yeah.
position.
Looks like a good, maybe, I agree with Tom, looks like a paramedic would be, kind of, Mike, am I correct on that or not? A paramedic's
Paramedic's
background
okay,
or?
but I'm not a paramedic. I was an EMT.
Yeah, but you've been a coroner and you've been everything
Well,
else.
see, that's what I'm trying to say, that you don't have to have that kind of background. I would rather have somebody that had a little more background in dealing with the public, if you will. The mayor, the county judge executive, those are the people that you've got to answer to. You're the liaison between anything that goes on disaster-wise in this county and the mayor and public officials, whether it's Perryville or Junction City or wherever it may be. I'd almost look at somebody that had that kind of knowledge as well as something else. And the judge and I have talked about this.
Yeah, and I agree, there's a whole lot more to it than coordination, collaboration, and staying on top of new concepts and the new plans that come out, and how we respond and when we respond, what we do to mitigate situations to make them, less acceptable disaster, response, and what we do there. And I'm a big believer in doing exercises, so that person needs to be the driver of these exercises, so we
Exactly.
know how to do it when the real thing goes down. So,
Well, and
We're required to have a
Personality means a
full-scale
lot.
exercise every 4 years.
yeah, and personality means a lot too, getting along.
it does.
I agree with that.
General, I actually was hoping maybe we could kind of postpone this conversation till the next court date. I've been discussing with somebody something that may kind of change the way we do EM, emergency management. So they said they can have a proposal to me probably in about a week. Could we hold off, let them do a proposal to you and then bring it to the court next go around?
It extends the opportunity for timing of advertisement to,
Well, time with Mike.
I was gonna say.
and
That's
what
why
the
we're
goal
doing
would,
this
the
now.
goal would be if we were to when we hire a replacement, by doing it now, we could conceivably allow for some on-the-job dual familiarization and training with Mike while he's still here.
Just the same as with Jackie and her team are
But
working with
Is,
our treasurer.
is it, you don't have to tell me now, but does it get into changing the whole concept of employment of what EM does?
Not necessarily, no. I think that the individual I'm speaking with has a lot of the things that Mike's already talked about. We'll talk later about it, but I mean, honestly, I would just ask that you postpone if we need to. We can do a special call meeting to deal with it, but
I mean, is there
Sorry.
a problem approving the job? Are we asking if the job description can be approved?
No, yeah.
well, right now it's just a review discussion of the EMA job description, so it's not.
Yeah, but, you know, I was wanting to follow it up with it, getting the announcement out, but
I think the sooner we get an announcement out and the sooner we advertise in the paper, the
well,
better off.
he's asking
It's
for
gonna
one
take
more
some
week
time.
virtually.
I'm asking for a week.
1 week.
It may even not
Well,
even.
we
be a
can't
week.
have a meeting in 1 week.
We're gonna be in a meeting in
We're gonna
10
be in-
days.
Yeah,
Do we have to run any changes through the city, which is an additional delay, because it's a joint position?
I don't know. That
Well,
might
I
come
mean,
into
this-
play.
I ran this through the city, they've already Earl's already signed off on this with one addition. If we have to
I don't think
change
it'll be that big of a deal.
it. Okay.
I hate to speak on anonymity, but it's just
Well, you have to.
yeah.
I,
But I think you guys probably might buy into the idea, and I don't think it'll cause too much problems. I mean, if you want, we can always post the job, and then if you guys like this other concept, then we can go with it. So it's
let's see, next week we'll be at CAECO for the last 3 days of the week, is that right? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in Louisville. And that is the 6, 7, 8.
just let's go ahead and post it. I'll discuss with you. You
Okay,
can
all right.
help tell me
We
what your thoughts are.
we can extend it, we can extend the timeline if we need to, or whatever, or we
Well,
can recall the.
In deference to Magistrate Cullen, and I understand what he's saying, this person sounds like he or she may already have a leg up in their capabilities.
Don't know.
And whether that's the case or anybody else, we have 9 weeks ahead of us before your retirement. And every one of those days going by, once we have that person in place, is gleaning tremendous experience.
I'm anxious to hear what he has to bring to the table in a week, but I would prefer, if it doesn't upset your doing that we go ahead and
Fine.
approve the job description and allow for the announcement to go forth with 30 days of a notice.
So make
That's
second.
fine.
None of this involves structure, so I guess is that what you were?
Are you talking about structure?
We'll talk
now?
later.
Okay. All right, we have a motion made by Magistrate Elton, seconded by Magistrate Gay. Now we can discuss the motion to approve the job description and the advertisement for a 30-day period to be possibly extended. All right, there's no discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you unanimous. All right.
I'd like to just say before Mike gets out of here, Mike, I've known you a long, long time. I want to tell you, my friend, we're not gonna be able to get anybody that does the job you're doing. I understand that, because you've done a wonderful job,
Absolutely.
wonderful job. I listen, and when that phone goes off, and I think about Mike Wilder's behind all this. You remember, how long ago has it been when you started this,
Code Red.
Code Red thing?
Very valuable tool that we have.
Oh,
that,
that's the greatest thing you've come up with, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you as a friend and an individual, and the job that you've done, my
I appreciate you guys. Like I told Harold McKinney when he appointed me, I said, Harold, I'll stay till you run again, and I'm done. I was gonna stay 2 years, and it just really is it's almost like a passion to me. I don't know, it just kinda got
Well,
in your
you
blood
got,
pretty
you
quick.
you've got, and you always have had in your blood helping people, Mike.
Absolutely.
And
And that's
I-
what
I
his life has
appreciate
been
that.
about.
And
it-
people will
and
always,
it's evidenced by his performance
Yes.
as the emergency management director.
and that'll always be remembered, Mike.
I appreciate it, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll get a lot of good applicants. We'll get a lot of good applicants. I've, had some people mention to me, and they'll be excellent applicants. We'll get a good guy,
You think there's,
or lady, for that matter.
I would just like to add that there's something in here that you can never figure out. The person has to be able to command under pressure. And that's an intangible. But you all as court members need to know pressure is to be considered when interviewing anybody
oh, yeah.
in this role.
Exactly.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. Mike and I have had a great rapport because he understands my background in emergency management and disaster response, and it's been a good working relationship, and I appreciate all of his sacrifice and service to this county.
I look back, and this doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about, but I gotta get it off my chest. Tom and I were talking this morning on the way in. I was just telling him about, and you remember it probably too, Mike, 1957, the bus wreck in Floyd County. They killed 27
Big
kids.
Sandy.
Big Sandy River, they went
Yep.
Big Sandy. I had a cousin in that bus, and I was a kid in school myself at that time, and I still get chill bumps when I think about what all happened and 27 people losing their lives. The bus driver was 27. The bus number was 27. 27 kids died. It was on the 27th day of February. Now you think of all that, hey, it came together. But that just, and I wonder about the emergency manager person that they had, if they had one up there then.
May not have.
Probably didn't have one.
It was
So,
called civil defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
I was
So,
actually the very first emergency management director Boyle County ever had.
Yeah,
It was called DES at that time.
yeah.
Disaster Emergency Services.
Exactly, exactly. Yep.
And Mike, we apologize for you having to drive that old vehicle so long before we got you a better one.
You know I appreciate that. It's getting ready to turn 50,000 miles
The new one
in
is?
8 years.
Well,
That's not too bad.
has it been that long?
I don't think I've abused it, so.
I didn't realize it'd been that long, Mike, that you'd had that.
Well, no, the car is just 16 in 2016.
Yeah.
And when you see Earl Coffey, tell him thank you for the 6 to 8 new hydrants on the way out past Bob Allen's place.
There you go.
Mike, I told him, changing the subject, I know you're gonna be in Louisville next week, and I told him to make sure you
I'm
had a seat.
coming up. We're gonna be
I'll
there.
make sure you had a seat up front.
My wife and I both are.
Oh, okay.
She's chose to go
Janelle's
too.
coming
Good.
too.
So-
His wife's coming also.
Yeah, well, Judge, I'm gonna put you in responsible, give me the names of everybody.
I will. I'll put that together for you.
I appreciate it. The ones with wives, I can remember everybody's name, but I can't remember their wives.
Girlfriends get to come?
Is that it?
No,
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you
Appreciate it.
all.
Appreciate it.
I'll be here in touch with you if you need anything.
It's a respectable organization.
All right, next on the agenda is the discussion of jail salaries. I'm gonna let the committee take this ball, the detention center committee, jail committee, and
Yeah, we've been, working on this for, it seems like a while now. But I do appreciate the, our judge and the judge of Mercer County, Judge Dedman, and Tom and Jackie and Julie and everybody that's helped us,
You don't need water?
work through this process. But the good news is that because of the fact that we've had these vacancies, which is not a good thing, but we've had these vacancies, and so it really looks like we can go ahead and move forward with our $1.50 raise without any impact to money that's already budgeted for this year. So that's really encouraging, and what that does is that gets us from a $12.50 starting rate to a $14 starting rate for our jail employees, which is still not great, but it's a step in the right direction, and it gets us to a point where we're much more market competitive, And that's really, I think, one of the goals for all of our positions is to be market competitive, so we can hire people we need to hire to fill these positions, and then also hopefully retain people in these positions. So with all that said, I would make the motion that we approve the $1.50 raise across the board, and open it up for any questions and discussion.
With the exception of the constitutionally elected officer.
Right.
position.
Correct.
And I second that motion, and there he is. Let me speak for a moment or two here.
Okay, let me recognize the motion was made by Magistrate Gay and seconded by Magistrate Ellis to approve a $1.50 per hour raise for the detention center employees, with the exception of the constitutionally elected officer.
It was very gratifying to meet yesterday with County Judge and Mercer and two of their magistrates. And they were very judicious in going through and asking a lot of questions. The one area, and I'm sure that Brian will handle this much better than I will, but there was a concern that we used to have a team of 4, and now we have a team of 3, which has thrown us into.
But we actually have a team of 4. Still. We're talking about the shift work.
What is the team? Explain what
Well,
you're talking
There was a
about.
concern about overtime on that.
What's the
what
team?
we- what
Who's
we
the
do-
team?
Go ahead.
Is we run 2 shifts and we have 4 teams. So we have a shift A and a shift B, D, or C and D. So the way we work 12-hour shifts, and the only way we can get covered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, is you have to have basically 4 teams, and 2 teams work the opposite days of the other 2. So when they're off, you have to have a team there to work. Before, they tried doing 8-hour shifts, and then,
Talking about the people that are working.
yes,
The
floor.
employees, the deputy
Employees.
jailers.
The team that's working is A team, and the ones that coming on will be B team, correct?
correct. So you have a day team, or, you have 2 teams that work days,
Right.
and then you have 2 teams that work nights.
Okay.
And then they work the opposite of each other.
Okay.
Because if they're working, if they work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then they're off Thursday, Friday, so you have the other team come in and cover, so they rotate.
Okay.
And the good thing about that is it gives everybody gets every other weekend off.
Well, now how many hours does each employee work? They work 12 hours or 3 days, and then they're off 4 days?
It's called the Pittman shift is what they work, and it's 12-hour shifts. So they may work 2 days, off 2 days, work 3 days, off 3 days, work 2 days, so it rotates.
Well, that should be a good shift. for
It's
employees.
common, a lot of factories work it,
Yeah.
and that's the only way we could do it. Because before, they did 8 hours, and then there'd be 4 hours left over, and nobody wanted to come in and work 4 hours.
Yes.
And it was hard to get them to show up. So the way it works on the 2-week schedule, like the 1 week, they work 36 hours, and then the next week, they work 48 hours. So they're getting their 80 hours plus a little overtime in there. That's not what's hurting us, because we've been doing that, okay, but what's hurting me is where we've been down 9, and then I've had deputies off with COVID on quarantine.
And you have to fill in those positions within the team.
And those who have to go to Lexington to sit in front of a room.
Yes, that's those. So I have to have 5 posts that have to be covered, manned 24/7. I can't do anything about it. Well, if somebody's on vacation or one of those is sick, and then we try to run 8 people on a team. So that way we can cover and not have to use overtime. But where our numbers are down, people have been off with COVID, or their spouse was positive with COVID and they were quarantined, it put our numbers down. We've had to call people in on other shifts to cover those, because I have to have those 5 spots. Plus, if we've had inmates at the hospital or doctor's runs or wherever, we have to make sure they get there, so I'm having to call people in on overtime. So that's why my overtime is out of whack right now in this
But
budget.
still within budget.
But still within budget, but we're
Critical point
higher.
that we talked about the other day.
But we're higher than we normally are at this time. But it's due to, we're down 9, I've had 9 empty spots, and having to bring people in because of the COVID restrictions. If they get quarantined for 10 days, I have to cover them. I mean,
You have any-
And if this is approved, this motion is approved, it will reduce his overtime significantly, but not the mandatory aspect of
Right.
But it will, the costly piece of the overtime, it will reduce significantly with each person that's hired in above that is vacant right now.
Right, because
Now,
normally.
you're short nine, and I understand, you're short 9 positions, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you have prospects for those, or not?
I'll tell you, it is hard finding qualified applicants.
Will this help with this raise?
What it's gonna do, it'll do two things. One, it's gonna help us retain the deputies we have. Because what's gonna happen, I'm competing with North Point. I just lost a guy that's been there for 10 years. He's the same age as I am. He was a lieutenant, he was one of my shift commanders. He was making about $33,000 a month. Well,
A month.
oh, sorry,
You mean a year.
yeah.
I'm quitting.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, me too.
I
Me
started to
too.
say I want to apply.
$33,000 a year. So he's going to go to North Point where they work 16 hours a day, getting overtime, and go make $44,000 a year plus hazardous duty retirement. So what's going to happen? Hopefully this will help us attract, because we really need to get our starting salary up to 15 is where we need to be, because we have to compete with everybody else. And we don't have a job, we're not there putting little boxes into big boxes. We have a whole different job. So it's going to help us maintain our employees. Because what's going to happen, the pool is drying up, so all the North Point, all the other jails around us are going to be competing for the same people. So we have to be more attractive and competitive to make sure we maintain those good people there. They have a hard job. It's 12 hours. Dealing with inmates, and I don't have to tell you all this, you all understand it, every one of y'all's been through the jail, you've got people in there detoxing, that's upset and angry and don't want to be there, you've got everything from a murderer to, shoplifters in there, and just dealing with different people. Even the insurance he's going to receive through North Point is better than what the insurance that we have for employees. And, he's married, he has 2 kids, I think one of them's out of the house, one of them's in college. His wife has gone through cancer, really severe cancer, so there's a lot of medical bills there. I have other employees that can't even afford to carry their spouse on the insurance. That's an issue.
Well, once I'm sure this is going to pass today, and there's 2 things in my mind. One of them is the fact that there's nothing you can do or this court can do about the situation. When you hire someone, they'll come to the jail. So the job, you can't change that job.
No, sir.
And it's tough. And regardless what the pay is, I think it's going to be hard to get employees, just my mind.
It is, but this will help.
I hope it'll help.
It won't hurt.
And another thing I'd like to do 6 months from now, if permissible to the court, I'd like for you to come back and give us a report on exactly what has happened between now and then because of the pay raise. I want to see in numbers on what is actually, if it's really helped that much. It really helped that much.
And I think it'll help us. And, Chad and I were talking the other day, and we looked at, we have a turnover, which is about average with everybody else in the state. And we average about 16 a year. And that's those new positions that come and don't stay. And, and one of the things Chad does, because he's kind of my HR there for my hiring, is he takes them through the jail when they come in to apply and walks them through and says, are you sure you think you could do? I mean, we train them 120 hours training before we put them out on the floor, and that's helping keep people because they feel more comfortable going out there. But it cost us a little over $4,000 to train an employee. If you think about everything to add up, that's a lot of money to burn. We take them, we walk them through the entire facility and say, this is where you're going to be working. Are you sure this is what you want to do before you go ahead? And they are. But I think if we get, our starting salary up to 15, what's going to happen is we're going to get some younger people, and we've seen this happen, that want to go into law enforcement. They want to be a police officer, but they need experience. And most, like we've had a guy, he just graduated the Louisville Metro Academy. We've had a couple others that's gone on to be, one of them's going to the Lexington Police Department that's come through us. So, you know, they look at that as job experience for them. So, you know, if we can get them for 2 years, you know, that's good.
Hey, Brian. How many higher end employees do you have? People that are probably on the high end of the pay scale that are going to get a raise?
6? You remember 5?
6 or 8.
Okay.
Because I've kind of been a little vocal that maybe I have people in mind that may necessarily
Excuse me.
not get in on this round. And the money that you would save there, you could actually take to put to the other people in the jail to kind of bump that up some. Is my thought. You could kind of take those savings and spread it out.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but is it fair to penalize somebody that's been a loyal employee, a good, you know, that's been here 20 years, or take Melissa that's been here 27 years, that's done her time and still does, you know, I think it would cause some problems. I don't think it would be
It
fair.
would help morale, and I thought the same thing, Jason, because you've got some people making darn good salaries. You're talking about $28 an hour, pretty good salary, and that's what you're thinking. And
That's kind of where I'm
yeah,
at. I'm like,
yeah.
you know, if
So we have 5 that make $18, or 18 or 18.
can I? It would. I know you guys gave this the other day, but I thought it would be in the packet when we were
You know,
discussing.
if we do it, we have to do it across the board, because then you're gonna have people say, well, if they don't appreciate my services, I'll go ahead and retire. And we really can't, I can't afford to have people leaving me early. I'm talking people into staying, and, you know, and those are hard, and that's a lot of knowledge. You've gotta think that's 27 years with Melissa of knowledge and experience, that you can't just put somebody in her shoes and say, do her job. And, you know, there's others just like her, Captain Salee, Lieutenant Lyons. You know, there's others that just.
I'm more in line with where Phil was going. You know, you got someone making, and believe me, I really like this person, but they're making 28 an hour. They're gonna bump them up to $30 an hour. You know, and you got people down here making $12.50, and I realize what this individual does. Believe me, I mean.
Well,
The breadth of that position is remarkable.
And, you know, if I spent
Right.
27 years for, whether it was a county government or a factory, I'd expect to be rewarded for.
I'm just trying to
my
say, if you're
value.
trying to get to 15 an hour, you know, we have to look at everything on the table and figure out where
How did this?
where people are okay, where people aren't okay.
I'm going along with Jason, thinking, you know what I mean? I'm just wondering,
Not-
how did, and how long did it take, and this person making, and I don't wanna know who he is, but I think I know, how did this person get to $28 to $30 an hour? I mean,
Well,
how
if
long
you-
have you been there, and how much did you start at, and what have you?
Well,
Do you have
you're
any
talking
idea?
about, that's 20, she's been here 27 years.
No,
That's
not-
not, no.
No, I'm just not the one I'm talking about.
Don't
That's
want
not
any
the one.
names mentioned.
No, no names mentioned, or not she or he, just a person. One
Okay.
person I know, like you said,
Because they have
making 28.
skills that are remarkable skills.
How long
that
a
rate
period
that.
of time did that take? And what did that person, I wonder, started at?
Well, that person started as maintenance, then they become a captain, and then when I was elected, I made them my chief deputy.
Okay, you bumped them up. You remember how much at that time?
Well, was it a significant amount that was bumped up? Because that was my
Yeah,
recollection.
yeah,
Yes.
I'm just wondering what kind of bump it was at that
Yes,
period of time.
because he has the same liability that I do. He, you know, he's the day-to-day operations. He does the.
So you bumped
higher-
him well because of the position.
Yes, and the skills he had
Right.
Okay.
to justify.
So maybe
And-
you almost,
And it was either that or we're paying him more in overtime.
you probably at that time almost doubled his salary, would you say
No,
that?
it wouldn't be doubled. It wouldn't been that much of an increase. But they also don't make overtime. So, one of the reasons we had to do that, because if I was gone on vacation or conference at the time when we had to sign timesheets, there had to be somebody. So in order for him to be eligible to sign timesheets, he couldn't make overtime. And that's why that was done that way. So it wouldn't be, you know, if I'm cutting him out, because this person works 50, 60 hours
Right.
a week. Just like me, we get called at home, we
And
have
I
to
know
come in.
experience, because we've talked, 2 and 3 in
And
the
let me tell
morning,
you
he's in
something,
there.
it's well justified,
Yeah.
for the skills and what he could,
And-
ability that
And that's
person
why,
does.
that's why I'm asking these questions. I'm not saying
And that's
No,
fine, I don't,
should-
no, you-
shouldn't be
you-
done.
Yes.
I'm just asking the questions
Yeah, and I
because
understand that.
I'm with Phil on the timeline here. I know there was a significant bump 3 years ago.
Yes, when I came, right,
Um,
when I took
And-
office.
and we were excited to have you in office, and we still are. We think you're doing a fantastic job.
Appreciate that, thank you.
And I rarely ever question your decisions. You're a good man with a good heart that really cares about this county, and you care about the people in that jail, not just the staff. You care about the people a lot more than their own families do. So
Thank you.
I agree.
I'm asking simply
And
as
I'm
a
okay with
person that
that.
has to go back to the taxpayers and say, this is why we gave, certain people significant raises. I've been saying for a while that we, 3 years ago, I was sitting here fighting the same fight that Jack was fighting, saying that the jail staff needed to be paying more. And we went up a little bit, but not as much as where we need to be. So, but I'm kind of one of those people that if we can give to the people on the bottom, get you where you need to be. That was the intent of my questions, was trying to figure out, is this completely necessary across the board?
Did
So.
the committee give it any thought, or what, and I'm not recommending this, I'm just talking.
Yeah.
Were you raised, gave a higher raise to the lower echelon than you did the top people, maybe? Like give $1.50 to the people that's making 50, 60,000 a year, and then maybe give the others.
Well, our plan was originally is, when budget time comes around, is kind of looking at this again and fit it in my budget, when I start
That
working on my
was
budget.
discussed.
And my budget has to be approved by April the 1st by KRS, so I usually we start in January
Yeah.
working on it.
And this has to happen across the board.
This one does, but I think
This-
the next
No,
one.
no,
we
no,
can-
I'm just saying, across all of our employees, we need to start forecasting and looking ahead. We need to stop playing catch-up, not give raises out for several years, and then all of a sudden, we have to take a big, huge hit. This is something that we need to look at with EMS, we're gonna have to look at them again. So when we do budget time, we need to build a certain percentage into that for raises for our staff.
Well,
For
it-
your staff, EMS, and just because we're just gonna keep hitting this problem where we're gonna have the back and forth where they're going to North Point or they're going here, they're going there, but we just need to pay them a good salary.
Some time ago, I think the judge, remember he and I, matter of fact, and the judge was shocked, talking to him. I was on the, Public Works Committee at that time, and the judge was shocked at, when he looked at these figures and seen that the road department hadn't had a raise in what, Judge, 15 years?
10
And
years.
you said,
Yeah,
and I remember
10 to
your
15
comment,
years.
Judge,
Yep.
you said, I can't believe that. Remember that?
No, that's
Right.
absolutely true.
Yeah,
But, it,
so we gotta look at all of them.
None of us got into this to be rich, but that doesn't mean the employees that were over
Yeah.
got into it the same way,
no, we've got, I think as a group, I I hear that we're committed as a group to move things forward.
Yes,
and
sir.
try to do the right thing for the right reasons.
Right.
Obviously, the salaries are very critical, but there's another area, and you mentioned it, that you run into with North Point, is the benefits package. I think the benefits package, which we really don't talk about very much, but maybe we need to raise it to a higher level and have some discussion on that and review and compare it to those who you are competing with for employees. I think our benefit package maybe needs to be looked at and compared. So if you can find out about what other people are offering in that area, it may help give us some direction at some
That
point
should be
in
something
time.
that our benefits company that oversees should be doing for us.
Well, you've been in the meetings with our consultants, and I've asked them to give us projections and information on an alternative option for our employees that would reduce premium for plus one and for family with maybe higher co-pays, but reduce monthly outlays, so we can, so they can kind of budget where they are. And that's forthcoming as an option, to look at. And there's some other things like employee, assistance programs, I think are very important, especially in today's environment, to help our employees with things that, are kind of out of the unusual, like financial or mental health counseling sessions and things like that. It's just a few of the ideas that employee assistance programs do.
It's time to get creative and look for new ways to do things because of the environment that we've been through for the last 2 years.
Yeah,
Everybody's life has changed and their needs have changed, and we need to acknowledge that. And the HR director may be, at some point, may be able to add to that, may be able to add to that conversation.
There is a part of our discussion the other day in Mercer County that I doubt, Judge, that everybody around this table understands. I know Brian does, right down to the penny. And I'm gratified that we had a discussion with them about the differential between the state reimbursement and the doubling of that, or perhaps even more, that we are having to pay per inmate. And the judge pointed out to them, and I think it was a surprise to a couple of them, that $1.1 million a month is the deficit that we're.
That's a year.
Okay, you mentioned the $12 million.
Yeah.
Pick up on this, Judge, and explain it. About this differential factors into everything that we're talking about.
I think I've had some discussions with our jailer just recently about that, and we want to provide this court with a lot of data and information to move things forward, to determine the feasibility, timing, and the option of changing our customer list at the detention center in the future. How's that sound?
Good. Judge, I'd like to, you've been there and done that, and I'm talking to someone that knows more about this than I do, so I apologize to you in advance. But I'd like to offer Keiko's assistance in any help, and all you gotta do is call them. We've got people that's professionals in all these different areas, and they'll be willing to help without costing us anything.
We literally got into a discussion the other day about the fact that we've got a board member of the Jail Association statewide, J.C. Young in the KMCA conference that we had, the virtual conference the other day. Jamie and I were in, I was in most of it, Jamie was in most of it. There was a long discussion about the jail situation, and I made sure to send notes to JC that we need to get this on agendas. The judge is going to be talking actually to you about Keiko in 10 days, because it's time that the state, it's time that our taxpayers know the deficit that we are paying for in this county by having a jail with state inmates in it. And what was that?
It's
figure?
unfunded mandates.
And what was the amount of that unfunded 300 and?
Well, I want to get my numbers right before I start throwing them out for.
It's significant.
But it is
Our
significant.
taxpayers are subsidizing the state.
Yeah, and what I would like to do, because I don't believe I have seen the schedule for this upcoming Keiko conference, and I had requested through the president, not the executive director, a breakout session to address this. Here's what, I don't believe that's there, and if it's not, what I would like to do, and I can use your assistance on this, and as an offer, is that you allow our jailer, myself, the KJA executive director, and Bill Henderson, and probably council, to sit together and have a discussion about some of the issues that are important statewide to their 70-plus jail facilities out there, and determine how we can best move forward to alleviate this imbalance of our cost to the counties.
We literally had a discussion about legislation that is needed, and that's on the heels of the conference, the virtual conference last week, where a senator in one session, separately, a state representative in the other, were very enthusiastic
I said
about
deal,
looking at legislation to alleviate some of this imbalance of the tax burden thrown down onto the counties. And I hope the newspaper's picking up on this concept.
Could I ask if we could go ahead and get back to the motion and
Yeah.
vote on the
Yeah,
motion?
we can talk
I do
about
think
this all day.
I do have,
Okay, go ahead.
I do have a question just for, and it's actually relevant. So our figure is, since we're splitting this with Mercer, it's not $1.50 that we're paying $1.09, and they'll pay the 41 cents. Is that correct?
If that's the,
It's
I'd
the
have to do the math.
I did
trust your math.
27%.
Yes, if,
71.29.
Okay. Yeah, so in that realm, so we're typically paying about $1.05 an hour is what the increase is going to be.
So I would just follow up some of the conversation here by saying these conversations were had in both our own internal committee and in our discussions with Mercer County, a lot of these same things that have been brought up today. And I do want to once again say how much I appreciate Mercer County working with us on this, and we feel good. They're going to be bringing this up today and voting as well on this issue, and so we feel good about that. And to our jailer's point, this doesn't get us fully where we need to be, but it definitely gets us closer to being market competitive. And we do have to look at our benefits package and some other things in combination to make sure we're competitive across the board in all of our positions that we do need to continue to work on. So I'll shut up.
How far off? So you said this is going to be covered. We've got the funds to do it, where we're not needing to do anything crazy.
Right,
At $1.05.
right. $1.50.
Well, $1.50
Our,
with
our
the
expense is the $1.05.
Okay, all right.
Could we do $1.50 our side, and then do 40 cents, 45 cents?
I think we go with where we are.
Yeah, we'd
I
have to
would-
come
I
back
would
to
prefer,
Mercer.
since this is out of budget cycle, correction due to the emergency situation of employment currently, if this starts helping, then we can pick up that other in budget
and
season,
we're gonna be
which will
working on it in a couple of months anyway.
Yeah, in
Right.
January,
My budget-
February.
My budget process starts over and everybody else's. So, Magistrate Gay and Ellis are on my committee, so they'll be helping me.
What,
As we move forward.
my question is, before we vote, and I agree with, who made that comment, Jamie, we need to go ahead and vote. What if Mercer turns it down?
No, they won't. We've had, well, we
They're
have
voting on it
confidence.
today, you don't know what those people
Don't
are
know
gonna do.
for sure, but
We don't know for sure, but
We
yesterday in
have
the
good
meeting,
confidence.
we felt we all left as comfortable as possibly could be.
Well, we're going with it anyway, you know.
By contract, Boyle County has the final decision on it. If you read the contract, it falls to Boyle County.
They are a viable,
Yes.
currently partner to us, and we've done our due diligence on that communication.
That's all the question.
All right. All those in favor of the motion as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you all. I really do
Now,
appreciate it. Thank you.
If you don't mind, I would like, due to circumstance beyond control, literally, I would like for the jailer to bring up a very short explanation of,
Hold on.
basically,
one
it's-
quick
it's-
question
okay.
for clarification on the last motion. Effective date?
that's a
the
good
first
point.
pay period.
Next pay period.
First pay period after this,
It's the first full pay period after this one.
first full pay period after this one.
Is this one?
And does that need to be
I think
voted on
Friday.
as part of the amendment? Cause that
Friday
needs to be said.
I'll incorporate that.
Okay,
in
we're in the
motion.
new one, so it'll be the
Yeah,
next
I
one.
meant to include that. Sorry.
Okay, as amended, first full pay period after this current one,
November 5th
November 5th
is when it starts?
starts.
Okay.
Yes.
and as
Thanks for
made
that
by Magistrate
clarification.
Gay and second by Magistrate Ellis. Everybody understand the amendment? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thanks. For clarity. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Relevant every now and then.
That was the last thing we discussed the other day.
Now, this, what I've asked the jailer to briefly discuss is a overnight delivery yesterday of a contract amendment to the GTL contract, which is the phone tablet program out at the jail.
And that's what the inmates use to do visitation, make phone calls on. And I did not receive this till yesterday, and it is time effective.
Time sensitive.
Time sensitive, I'm sorry. So first thing I did is I brought it up to our county attorney and asked for him to review it. He reviewed the contract, or I guess the addendum, the change, the amendment to the agreement. It does not affect the amount of revenue we will receive. We'll still get the 105 minimum guarantee plus the 25 a year tech grant. But it changes some stuff on their fee basis because I guess the FCC made some rulings that change how they have to do things and limits what they can do. But it does not affect us, but they have to, they need this amendment.
This is kind of like
But
a
to
private
clarify that
privacy update.
FCC, I read this last night when Missy sent it to us. We can't avoid this.
No, it's a federal.
Communications Commission
So
passed this.
it's really not on GTL, you know, it's.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion, we approve it.
Second.
Motion made by Magistrate Cullen to approve the amendment to the agreement, and it was seconded by Magistrate Ellis. Now we can discuss.
Technical point, since we didn't receive it until yesterday, can we legally, Counselor, vote on it today?
Yeah, as long as he's approved it.
As long as it's legal sufficiency and
Good.
people have a chance to review and discuss.
All right, fair enough. Thank you.
I think it's fine. I mean, I think the only thing that changed was how much they can charge inmates. So they didn't change what they're going to pay us. So that's the main.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? All
Break.
those, excuse me?
Go ahead.
All those in favor of the motion to amend the agreement as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. And Judge, if you wouldn't care, you need to sign, and then, send it over to Millward, have him sign it, and then we need to get it back to send to GTF, if you don't care.
Should we bump Vicki up?
Jailer, while we're,
You wanna take this now, or you wanna wait just a little bit?
gonna take it now, I guess.
Okay.
We're gonna bump
And then,
number 4 up since he's here.
and then, if you don't care to send that to them and keep a copy, we have
Yeah.
to file. Thank you.
Why he's here, President? Let's get Vicki to come in.
While we're waiting, I'd like to just say that I've worked with about 3 jailers, and all of them have done a decent job, but you've done an excellent job. I
Thank you, Mr.
appreciate being associated with you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It means a lot to me.
All right, we adjusted our agenda and bring number 4 up because we have the jailer with us. So, Vicki, you got the floor.
Thank you.
Vicki Goode.
From Main Street, Perryville, and
Yes, ma'am.
Main
Vicki
Street,
Goode.
Perryville, and Kentucky Main Street would like to honor Brian Wofford with Preservation Hero for Kentucky Main Street. We submitted his name in 2000.
Somebody get some pictures?
Oh,
I'll get 'em.
please, somebody take a picture.
Julie's got this.
Okay.
Does he get any money with it, or?
No, he doesn't.
Comes with $1.50.
But
That's a
his,
beautiful,
You know where?
his,
I like that.
his program has been so beneficial to Boyle County, Danville, Perryville, and Junction City. But Main Street, Perryville, we couldn't have done what we've done in the last 2 years without your program. And it's been so beneficial, I think, to the prisoners themselves too, because they take pride in the work that they're doing.
Doesn't Barry
And
need to
they
be, doesn't
enjoy
Barry
it.
Harmon need to be here with him?
Yes,
He
and
part of
Barry
it?
Harmon and.
I tell you what, let me get up there with you
Freddie
guys, and you, if you're comfortable, maybe for the picture, take your
Sure.
mask off.
Anytime. Well, thank you, no, thank you for doing it. I mean, it's been a pleasure.
With the judge.
I just wanted to get one of the 2 of you for your newsletter.
Okay, let me get on this side and Vicki on that side.
Yeah, you know I looked at my picture.
That's great.
Thank you.
All right, congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you for
It is my honor to call you a constituent.
Thank you all.
I tell you, I need to come up here more often.
Right.
Oh, you're done for a couple months.
Hey, best I remember, that didn't raise the jailer's salary.
No, it didn't, but it raises those court,
It might make
people
you-
that make me look good.
Might
So,
make you, yes, it might make your job easier,
Phil, in my career, they called it
Makes them-
psychic income.
yes.
Pull that hair out a little
All
less.
right, thank you, Brian.
Hey,
Thank you, guys.
Jailer, don't forget to tell everybody what a wonderful court you've got.
You know, I was just at the KJA meeting, and I listened to a lot of jailers complain, which is typical about their courts, and I'm sitting there thinking, I can't say anything bad about mine. They've
Yeah,
supported
right.
me
Well,
since I come
thank-
in, and I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Moving
All right,
right
Miss-
along, moving right
Miss
along.
Trille is next. Need to get her in, and we'll, you'll have to give me one of these without the hole punch. Okay? Katina's gonna present.
Good morning. Yeah, you don't get to see
Hello.
Trille. Unfortunately, she had a dental emergency, so she sent me in. And I'm just here to ask for the fiscal court to acknowledge that we have turned in our third quarter reports.
Depending
And
on-
you have that in your binder, and
It looks like things are coming in pretty well,
Uh,
too.
They're moving right along. We didn't know what this year would bring with
I know, that's
not
what I
knowing
was,
what's gonna happen.
that's what I was thinking, and
No
looking
cars
at
on
it,
parking
and looking
lots.
at it, the way I'm seeing it, it looks like
But
most
we're-
things are
Trille
Ahead of
towed that
budget.
line pretty well.
right.
But we, with new cars not selling like they had been, we really didn't know,
Right,
yeah.
so.
but yeah, it looks like the numbers are rolling
Well,
in pretty well.
Speaking for the court, everybody's seen this in their
Everybody-
binder, and so we
everybody's great.
acknowledge and, the receipt of and, accept the, third quarter budget report and appreciate all the work you guys are doing.
Appreciate,
you all.
can I make a comment before you leave? I don't know where most of you know or not, but her dad spent a lot of time in this place as a deputy sheriff.
Great guy.
Great
Great
guy.
Thank
We all loved him.
And he will be here next month to help collect taxes.
Yes, he
So-
will.
Which means I get free lunch for a whole month.
Quick question.
Good having
because I
with
got
you.
it from two constituents, tax bills, when are they coming out?
That end of this month, the
Okay,
31st,
right, 'cause-
or the 30th.
And you get your discount by the 1st of December.
It used to be sometime in November for the discount.
It was for November, I'm pretty sure. That's actually the sheriff's office.
Okay.
We only collect after they're late.
I have the answer for them. Thank you.
Katina, if you'd
We'll
mind
send-
sending Mimi Becker in, please.
Mimi Becker, I sure will.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Tom, while we're waiting.
And we'll
I gotta
send
check
Tom through orientation again.
The house on an election, okay? And my property tax bill here was the property here is more than twice the amount. Okay, worth more,
Yeah.
but my tax bill's only
Yeah.
within $300. That's how much our election it is.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Well, it's
Are
still
you all-
warm, you got it
All
right
right.
express.
Okay, well, not really. Okay, thank you for having me. We so appreciate your time. Also, we appreciate your financial support, and we appreciate your allowing us to use your space at Constitution Square. So I wanted to fill you in on just a few of our activities. And I've kind of broken it down into our mission statement. We have 4 things we concentrate on. The first, and these are in no particular order for today, but the first is to promote art and arts activities and cultural events. So, for example, we sponsor the Gallery Hop every year as the opening act, so to speak, of the Brass Band Festival. And we have partnered with the Farmers Market, and this year we expanded that to include children's activities. So we had artists, we sponsored artist slots at Farmers Market so that artists can develop their vendor capabilities, and we sponsored children's activities, and we hosted artist groups who came to paint at the market. Another one of our programs or things is to develop children and future artists. One example of that is that this past summer, we, with the support of some of the community people in the county, we had 50 children who received 2 different deliveries of arts materials and books during the summer. The sponsorship there was helped with by David Walden's family and Robin Marion Cowell and Farmers Bank. We also offer technical assistance to arts organizations or related types of organizations so that they can do their work and basically be like a 501c3. It's called fiscal sponsorship. And we have three at this time. One is a quilt guild, a Peaceable Friends Quilt Guild. Another is the Danville Sings Organization of 4 choirs, and Scarlet Cup Theater. So what we do for them is we provide them things such as bookkeeping. I do their deposits, I balance their checkbook, I provide them whatever kinds of assistance we can to make sure that those volunteer-run community organizations can exist. So we feel like that's a really important thing in a small community with small organizations, that they can exist. Another thing we do is we collaborate and we advocate for the arts. So one of the things we do is the Art Citizen of the Year. You're going to hear more about that coming up, not this month or next month, but in January. And we, for example, VCTC called, and when they were going to dedicate or cut the ribbon on their new facility, they wanted an artist to do a rendering of the building. So I matched them up with the artist who did that. So that's the kind of thing we do. People call us, they ask us for something, and we hope to find them the answer for it. And then also, thankfully, the Fiscal Court has arranged for that wonderful piece of art that Louise Dearborn did of the founding of Kentucky, Kentucky, I always get so nervous in front of you all, Kentucky in 1800, the vision of Danville that she did, the arts piece, the fabric art piece. It's now, as of yesterday, in the schoolhouse. Beautifully hung, it's perfect. And I would love to work with the Birthplace of Kentucky Committee to sort of do that same kind of thing and to try to bring perfectly historic art representing not just our community, but our artist organizations that will show people what we have in our community, historically, artistically, and the whole range of our community. So, whew, I did all that. That was way too fast. Sorry. Somebody's pointing out something on the, what are you pointing to, Jason?
Oh, I was just trying to distinguish between the benefactor and the partners.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, benefactors are people as cash. So you guys would be under benefactors in that category. Partners are organizations that we partner with that to provide services. So for example, the library.
In kind?
In kind, like Wilderness Trail Distillery would be a partner.
Our board would be the same, wouldn't it?
And you're, well, we have, do I not have you under benefactors as cash?
Yes, you do.
Yes.
Yes.
It's not a big deal. I was wondering about the differences
Well,
in
I
there.
do too,
Yeah.
but benefactors and the partners, what adjacent, that was my question.
Yeah, would you prefer to be under partners?
No,
I'm
I don't
just
think it
asking.
makes any difference.
I don't know. I was
No,
just
just looking
trying
for
to
clarification.
clarification.
Yeah,
I think we do.
so-
I think we do both. We give cash and then we also
You
give
do.
a free
You do.
place to
And-
stay.
and-
So
And well, minimal rent. We pay thankfully minimal rent for the space at the
electricity
schoolhouse.
is what
Yeah,
it is.
so, yeah. So, we would be happy to put you in both categories because actually, you know, in many ways you do.
That'd be nice.
It was
Yeah, I'll do that.
mainly
No problem.
clarification.
Well, just so we can compete with Boyle County Airport / Stewart Powell Field down there twice.
Oh, they are?
Boyle County,
They shouldn't be.
you got Boyle County Airport listed twice.
Oh, typographical error. I'm serious.
It is a good airport. I will
It's a
say
good
that.
airport, that's
Yeah.
why it's
Yeah.
twice.
Yeah.
Mimi, I've always appreciated what the Arts Commission does for the public. You know, you were always great with the hub. You know, putting up paintings, local paintings, which people really loved. I mean, I remember the first when the Arts Center decided they didn't want to do it anymore, and you came right in and said we'll do it, and you had a bunch of paintings from the local schools.
Yeah.
And I had so many people come into my
Yeah.
Ponder Court location.
I know, I
and
hated that we lost
grandparents
that.
and
Yeah.
parents and
Yeah.
everything, and they just loved it. So thank you for the role that you play in kind of connecting, you know, the really local and encouraging art in the
That's-
community, you know, through schools and through programs, through
Thank you.
through the the farmers market, different things like that. I think things that are kind of
I appreciate
forgotten. You guys.
Well, we feel like local art, and I totally understand people's idea about bringing in other people's art, you know, to educate and to present other art. But hey, this is us. You know,
Yeah.
this is what we are. That farmer's market, we did this, an exhibit for farmer's market, especially in May and June, and that brought 350 people into that schoolhouse just to see that market,
Right.
that exhibit.
Yeah.
The Ponder Court exhibit, when we put the DCA piece up,
Yeah.
it got 1,000 hits on Facebook.
Oh, it was great.
It was
They
great.
would just come
So,
in
yeah.
and a lot of times they would end up buying a cup of coffee, which is
Yeah,
great. But
I
other
know.
times it was just grandparents saying, oh, I was trying
Yeah.
to find my grandchild's,
And I'm-
art or whatever, but.
We're looking for ways to replace that because it's not apparently going to work out anymore at
Yeah.
Ponder Court so
What I-
we're looking for ways to do that.
But you guys, and I don't want to minimize it by calling it low hanging fruit, but you guys go after the things that really matter, and you know, we did this with, you know, the court took a big risk with just the flowers at Constitution Square, and we gave it to the kids to
Yeah.
kind of give them some pride back into the community, and that's what this does. You know, when you're able to, like,
Say that we did this.
we did this, or give them a platform, it really gives them a sense of pride of being in Boyle County as well. So
Well,
I
look
thank you for it.
So, like, we do so many different things. We have this grant program called the Louise Wilkinson Grant, and in fact, the applications are due in right now. And what it does is it offers $200 to a local high school or schools for proposals for an art project that has a whole lot of criteria. It sounds kind of silly, but involve lots of kids, diverse kids, you know, like age groups, using recycled, repurposed, and found materials, and it has to be publicly displayed when it's all finished. And you say $200. Well, the $200 is to provide the materials that they wouldn't normally have in their school budget. So, watch for the Boyle County Performing Arts Center. They're going to have a hanging piece of art in their lobby that is going to be created because of our grant. They had to get special fabric and a material, a paint, that could be done with this. And so it's going to be up there. So we're so excited.
Mimi?
Yes.
The judge very kindly appointed Magistrate Cullen and me to the Birthplace of Kentucky Committee. We're non-voting, but we're there to support in any way we can. It's been my passion, and Magistrate Kaywood knows about this, since moving here and learning so much about the Constitution, how Judge McDowell was responsible for its passage after 9, arguably 10 constitutional conventions, and how George Washington signed papers about our Constitution in Washington, D.C. A passion of mine would be, and we have the Kentucky Poet Laureate right here, in writing, whether it's poetry or prose, something to involve the kids to learn what the adults in this community do not know about the history of the expansion, the westward expansion of the United States that is credited by Dr. Tom Clark, who died at 101. He credited Kentucky with the expansion into the West. And we need that knowledge, maybe third graders doing essays or poetry. So I'd like to talk to you about that.
Sure. Yeah, because art is, people think of it as stuff that hangs on the walls, you know. The Youth Arts Festival, which we also sponsor, is going to be at Pioneer Playhouse in May, and it's going to be 3 days and nights, and we have not just the visual, which is what's been presented before, but we're going to do performing groups. So every school will have a performing group. So it's everything, and it can be a poetry reading, it can be, so to play off on that, yes, we do need to. And Frank Walker, he and his wife are working along with the new potential book, poetry written by local kids. But, you know, perhaps doing something, interpreting and working with historic nature. You know, the DAR did do an essay contest 100 years ago. I won it one year. That's what I know about. So, you know, so things like that, we could definitely, you know,
well, it's
look into
just
that.
critical that folks know what happened at Constitution Square.
I was reading yesterday about the 4 issues pertaining to all of that. It was really
The intrigue that went on.
Yeah. So I would just look forward to how the park is going to be interpreted, because a lot of what goes on in this community does kind of center on that park. You can come out almost any Saturday, any day of the week. Sometimes when the weather's good, every picnic table is filled at lunchtime. So it's really a place that you know, we'll be happy to participate in its work.
Well, you can call on me.
Thank you.
We do a lot of different things.
Thank you.
If you're not on our mailing list, I'll be happy to add you to our mailing list. I'm also on the radio on Thursday mornings. We have a website, so there are ways to.
I've had the honor of working with Mimi on a project that it was her idea, along with Heritage Hospice, that I put together something that she has, a color version of all the military awards and decorations and the proper placement of those in uniforms throughout the history of our country since World War II. And you still got that, and the reason I bring that up is that was a collaboration, that it was her idea between the Arts Commission and Heritage Hospice. And I just want to say it for people that might be watching this program, that if you have a loved one that you want to know what award they may have had, and a picture or a color picture of it, and the order of precedence, which it is, and where it goes on the uniform, should you do that? Mimi has that. So does Heritage
Well, and the
Hospice.
other nice thing was that you were talking about how to, when you have, say your grandfather has passed away and you have all this stuff, you know,
Yeah.
and you
What
don't
do you
know
do with it?
What do you do with it? So part of it was you had several examples of how you can display that
Right.
appropriately so that it looks nice, it's proper, it's correct, it's, you know, everything's right on it. So that was a very fun evening. We enjoyed that.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was great. It was great.
Yeah. We ought to try that again maybe sometime. When the world gets back upside down,
Yeah, there
right
you go.
side up, you know, so
Well, listen, thank you for being
Thank
here
you.
today. We appreciate all you do
Okay.
for Boyle County
I
artists.
appreciate it.
And tell Mary Beth we said hi.
See ya.
See ya.
She's still there.
I know, I was remiss in one of my items under my agenda, so I'll take executive privilege and go back to it. I have, after much deliberation, I want to recommend to this court that Magistrate John Wood be appointed as a magisterial representative to the Economic Development Authority by position. And I just want to make that, entertain that as a motion. That's my nomination and recommendation. And,
I'll make that motion.
excuse me?
You want a motion?
Yes, sir.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion made by Magistrate Sammons, seconded by Magistrate Cullen. Any discussion on that nomination?
He
One
tends
of
to
the
be a
most
little,
important motions we'll vote on this year.
And he's very knowledgeable, and I think
He has a lot of experience in
lot
that
of
arena.
experience, and I think he'll do us a good job and keep us well informed.
I think he will represent the county well in that endeavor. And I look forward to he and David Williams working together to help forge a new path forward for the authority in the county and the cities.
Call for the
Okay.
question.
Judge,
All right.
I will refrain from voting.
All right.
He's buying lunch, and evidently if that passes.
All those in favor, excuse me, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries
Is
unanimously.
he authorized now to buy our lunch?
Let me just say that first, I appreciate very much and honored to have y'all's confidence. We will be cutting new trail, and there'll be times y'all will disagree with the path that we follow. Just understand, yes, we'll make some mistakes. That's just part of cutting new trail. But I think it's a new direction, a new day, a day that we will become more creative in the world in which we presently live. So thank you.
Okay, just don't talk too long.
I'll be nice.
All right,
Next
moving
week I'll
moving
get
right along, as some of us might say, we have Director Rogers here with us with some
Thank
a
you.
presentation.
Yes.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, members of the Fiscal Court. I'm here today to ask for a full-time consideration of Chris Sowder. He is an EMT that's part-time with us, and it's going to just move him to full-time.
make that motion.
Motion made by Magistrate Cullen and seconded by Magistrate Gay to convert Mr. Sauer from part-time to full-time status with the emergency medical services.
Effective.
What's the name?
Effective when?
Effective today, and his pay rate, that's a good question. Let me ask Shannon.
$9. $9.
16?
16, I'm sorry, Judge. The new pay rates.
Okay, $16 an hour. Any questions?
How long has he been with us? Quite a while, hasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, at least 2 or 3 years, part-time, yeah.
Okay.
All those in favor of the motion for the full-time hire, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously.
I think it's wonderful we can bring more
I like them being grown within
in
the
system.
excellent culture that we have established at EMS.
I think it's great, Judge.
I do too. I do too.
Mike, what's our runs looking like?
We're still very busy. Every month since May, we've been doing over 500 runs, which is busy. Yesterday they made 10 runs before 10 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
So it's just still really busy.
What do most of them consist of, Mike?
It's everything from, it's we're coming out of trauma season, but you see a lot of trauma in over the summer months, and car wrecks. We're still seeing 1 or 2 COVID patients a week. Heart attacks and just the normal.
I noticed living on the main highway between Danville and Perryville that every day making runs towards Perryville. Are there car wrecks or what are most of them?
No, not. I mean, we have our share of car wrecks on Perryville Road, but we just it seems like I've been talking to the judge about it. We've been having a lot more runs in the county, specifically in Perryville.
Down that wonderful judge.
A lot of sirens go by our house all the time.
So it's one of the good things with the 12-hour shift. I was telling the judge earlier this week that we can actually move people, staging areas based on whatever area is busiest. So
If you don't mind, when they pass about 2 miles down the road, about 3 o'clock, tell them not to turn that siren.
yeah, well,
They're disturbing my nap.
yeah, I understand, sir.
Of course, he doesn't mean that. But
Yeah,
anyway.
I understand.
At all. I'm joking.
Mike,
Yes, sir.
I know it's been tough in Perryville, and please pass our regards on to your guys.
Yes, thank you.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Have you established reaching out to what I communicated with you yesterday about
Yeah,
talking with
Mhm.
Wilder on
Yeah.
what I recommended, that we take full advantage of some of those post-traumatic stress counseling opportunities for those who responded to recent incidents in Perryville.
I don't understand. Me personally, you guys have got to be professionals to handle situations like that, and I admire you. I want you to know from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you first of all, and I admire the job you guys do in situations like that. It's heartbreaking, and
I appreciate you bringing it up. I mean, mental health is very important in first responder community. It's kind of something that we haven't looked at in the past, but there was a study not too long ago that it was just a smaller sample size, but I think it speaks a lot. But it was the study said that as much as 6.6% of the people in the study that responded to it had considered suicide. Just from the trauma and the things that you see every day as an EMS provider. So,
well, the
so
guys
something-
that you have responded to it, I'm sure have families and so on. And any accident or anything you respond to is going to be life. You go to a car wreck, you go to this or that.
Let's not forget, we have a small community here, so there's a good
Yes.
chance that these EMS and paramedics know the people that they're going to
Yeah,
tend
no
after,
doubt.
which
Yes, you're
creates a
exactly
whole
right.
different
Dynamic.
dynamic to the job that they have to do.
And it may be related to some of them.
Right, yeah. Yeah, no, it's
had
tough.
that happen.
I'm glad we're all on the same page, because I know you guys had a really tough week last week.
And we feel for you guys. I
Right.
do, and I know the court does. It's sad, and the job
means
that you
a
have,
lot. It
the
means a
job that you have to do.
And we may joke around about it, but every time we hear those sirens, our prayers are with all
Yes.
y'all.
Oh, absolutely.
We know, and my wife said, "Oh gosh, hope and pray that it's not something drastic. Hope that they survive and this and that."
Yeah.
'Cause you're right. Every time we hear those, we know that something bad's happened, and it's sad.
But we're sending our best. to
We're sending
respond.
our best, and we've got the best in the state.
And what keeps us going is more often than not,
Yes.
they're okay, and we do, you know,
Yeah.
we make a big
You
difference.
make a difference.
We make a big difference, so that's more often than not. So.
And I have
I
personally
know.
thanked you for the Perryville Festival when you guys were parked on the other side,
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
just in case the
Yeah.
bridge still was not
Yeah.
fully, operational at that point.
I've seen these guys operate twice. One was a neighbor of mine had a heart attack, and these guys were there so quick and professional job that they tried to do, bring him back to. Another dear friend of mine that they thought had a heart attack in my house while working out there as a carpenter. And my gosh, they were
Ain't
there
going to his house.
like they did all the time, and the job that they did and how they handled him. Thank you so much.
And
All that.
we've improved our response times just by switching to 12-hour shifts. We have trucks staged in certain places, so when the run comes out, they go immediately. And that couple of minutes makes a huge difference.
It makes
No.
a huge difference, Mike, and I know I've took the opportunity to thank you all before. You saved my life. I know that. When I had my heart attack, if it had not been for you all, I wouldn't be here talking with you today.
And that's a wonderful testimony, but there's a lot of stories like that. And,
Mike,
and
just think of,
that keeps them coming back.
Mike was in here early, think of his brother Tony. You always just happen to be at the right time at the right
Yeah.
spot to save that, you saved that guy's life, and he knows that.
But, I mean, just, he is right there, response time is amazing.
It is
I get calls from the fire department, and I'll anything in my area I tend to go to, and those guys are already there, and I swear your trucks are cold by the time I get there. That's how quick you guys got there, so.
When you get there, though, they're professionals.
Oh, yeah.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
We can't say them, give you enough.
Thank you. It means a lot. It means a lot to our employees. I promise you it does.
I hope some of them are watching this so they can hear it firsthand.
We
Well-
just appreciate and love every one of them, if anything that this court can do, we wanna do it.
I just might add, and I'm gonna mention his name, everybody knows the story anyway, Steve Klein.
Yeah.
If it wasn't the coordination of you all with everybody else that works in your area, y'all saved him. And it's that kind of cooperation with each other that saves lives.
Well, he came up here at the last court meeting, John, he was sitting there.
Yeah, I did. I talked to him.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know
Remember
it.
that?
Yeah, I
Yes.
talked to him.
Thank you
He went
personally.
to other organizations that were involved
Yeah.
in the structure, so.
And-
Thank you for it.
Just think how many lives you saved in Boyle County in the last year, of being there on time.
Yeah, and let's not forget our community partners, you know, the Danville Fire Department, Boyle County
Oh,
Fire
absolutely.
Department.
Oh, yeah.
Ephraim McDowell Health, I'm telling you, I have the best relationship with Ephraim McDowell, and I'm thankful to have that
Well,
too.
we have a wonderful hospital, and we need to really appreciate it, I agree with you.
To take a step further, they're involved in a whole lot, and this coming Thursday on WHIR, I'll be on the radio with Director Rogers and Captain McCanley, Ben McCanley, and Jada to talk about the outreach program that they're working through, that grant from UK and some other things. And so I want to use that platform to inform the public of more good things that EMS is doing.
And Mike, I know you've got a lot of good people, but I have to recognize Major Wesley.
Mhm.
That guy is all over the place. We were the fire department responded to over to North Point the other day. An inmate had fallen off a, I guess probably about 12, 15-foot embankment. And I go out there, and the first person I see out there is Wesley. He's gotten himself down there. He's there taking care of the guy. Of course he's with the fire department and with EMS, but he's just everywhere. He's very quiet, very humble, and we are we're very blessed to have him amongst all of y'all. So, but I just wanted to, I'm always impressed with, one day there was an accident over on Lancaster Road, and he was on vacation. But guess who responded?
Yeah.
And guess who's there helping this
It's a
scared
passion,
young
for sure.
lady
It's
get
a passion
get out of it and
Yeah, it's
help
not
her
just
father.
a job, it is a passion.
Yeah, so you got a good crew. Thank you.
You gotta love, you gotta love what you do to be a good paramedic or EMT. You gotta love people, and you gotta love the job.
Right. Yeah,
That makes a good employee.
it's there. Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you for coming in today, and appreciate you being here.
Tell,
Let staff know what we said.
tell paramedic Sowder we're proud of him.
All right, Shannon, all right, you're up.
I just have a comp
I'll
time
make that
agreement
motion.
to be approved.
She's waited hours almost.
Well, just get her in here first and let her get
I
out
know
of
it.
here so she can get back to
We
her
may
job.
adjust our schedule going forward.
If it's a compensatory agreement, just get her on before judge. How about that?
So we have a motion to accept the compensatory agreement and made by Magistrate Cullen, seconded by Magistrate Sammons, taken over for Ronnie. And, is there any questions or comments
Thank you.
about the, motion?
you,
All
Judge.
those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries unanimous.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Shannon.
Shannon.
How many people participated in the health fair?
I think I had 6 that didn't make it because they were on vacation or things, and they're, I've talked to the health department, they're
Oh.
gonna go down there and do them there.
Tom, I'm glad you brought that up. Can I make a comment about that?
Yeah, he wouldn't leave the masseuse.
The masseuse table.
Shannon, I have attended every one from the time it started, as you well know. And I want to compliment you and congratulate you on doing the job that you did this year.
Thank you.
That was the best one we've ever had.
Phil.
And
Thank Missy too, cause she helped a
and
lot.
Missy, yeah, and Jackie and the judge for everybody.
Missy for the t-shirts, I
Everybody.
understand.
I want
Missy
to
did a
thank,
lot more than t-shirts.
I wanna
Yes.
thank-
And Shannon
She
knows
did.
it.
Yes.
It was a team. It was
Again,
it was a team effort.
It goes back to
And
a
Brent
team effort
Blevins-
that we have here.
Yeah.
Brent Blevins for his staff being there.
Yeah.
And the lady with the, well, you can not, with the massage or what
The
you want to
chairs,
call it.
the massage chairs.
Yeah, the Gourley girl did a wonderful job. And just everybody was there. You did a wonderful job. You did a wonderful, everybody did great.
This was the way to do it. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
Great, it was
It
so,
worked great.
it was so smooth. There was no waiting and all this and that. And they checked you and give you your results back and
Right
you
there.
may not want to know and this kind of thing, but you got it anyway.
well,
Shannon,
I think
Thank you, thank you.
this is the first time I've ever heard through the years that he complimented this
I
effort.
know.
So
Well, that's.
It's really
you're-
special.
You're
It
exactly
is
right.
special.
It's special. Thank you.
Everybody
was there.
I think
Missy
the
wasn't
instant
there
feedback
before.
we
She
got
had to
on it
help out.
was
Better.
we need more double X shirts apparently.
You need double X?
We ran through those pretty quickly from what I heard.
We did.
All right.
And I think she,
Actual insurance will start, probably the end of November, we'll have the meeting. I won't let you miss it. I haven't
When-
got dates set yet, but it's usually then.
when time comes
Last
up to
November.
renew again and everything, I want the committee to look at Keiko, give Keiko a chance.
And does that additional stipend carry over?
We have
or
to,
do we lose it at the end of the year?
I think we have to
You lose
recuse
it
ourselves
at the end
because
of
of
the
your
year, but then you get a
affiliation
new
with
one.
Keiko.
Well, I understand, but it doesn't accumulate.
It does not accumulate.
He hasn't been voted in yet.
No, that's right.
Well, I think he has. He just gotta be sworn in. He hadn't been sworn in.
He's been sworn.
Yeah, he's been sworn
He's
in.
been sworn
Been
in.
sworn.
Okay,
been
thank you.
sworn in.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Shannon.
Appreciate it, Shannon.
Thank you.
Grab a bottle of water on your way out, Shannon.
All right, Miss Jackie's up next.
Okay, I just wanted to give you all an update. Ending the fiscal year last year in KBS has been a thorn in my side. And it's, when I think I'm getting ready to be able to end it, then I find something else that has to be addressed. So, I had talked to the auditors.
Oh, hold on. Can you give her a mic?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You just keep his mic, please.
Sure. Okay, so I've talked to the auditors. They are not gonna be able to come and do our audit till after the first of the year. So, because they've got some deadlines that they're working with right now. But they gave me the go-ahead to end the fiscal year for last year, as soon as I have everything in place. And, then they'll call after the first of the year to set something up to come in. So, just wanted to update you all on that. So, my goal is to get the year ended before the new treasurer starts, so it will not be an issue. That's it.
All right.
Thank you.
Wonderful
you.
job.
Looks like the audit department, the state would want to come down when we have a change to go ahead and audit right then.
I've asked
But
that
they-
question.
They can't.
They can't.
They're just so.
Their workload does not
backed up.
allow them that, I asked
Yeah.
because of the
Yeah.
transition from where we were to where we're going to be with the
Yeah.
interim, and they don't have the manning.
Well, where we were
Time.
from where we are is complete night and day, and thank you for your hard work and stepping
Oh,
in.
absolutely. She stepped up the plate and
Yeah.
performed an
Well, that's
essential
another,
team.
that's another, the judge always refers to team player, right,
Yes,
Judge?
absolutely.
We
And you've
refer
done
to
a
you guys as
wonderful
the
job.
A-team while we're the B-team.
Yes, yes.
You guys are fantastic.
And I'm on the A-team with you.
Sorry about that. We couldn't take him anymore. We traded him.
So you had to get rid of it.
All right.
Because these girls love me. I'm part of the team.
We'll go around for some.
Are they the ones that do your hair?
Is there
Yeah.
anything else, Jackie?
No, that's.
All right, we'll go around with committee reports. I talked to Magistrate Short in his absence earlier today, and he said he had no committee reports to refer on, so we can start right here with you, Tom, or,
The judge asked me not to spend 20 minutes on these notes, but I'm gonna do some summary of them, because that, J.C. Young's, KMCA conference was very important about what's coming up in the legislature, so I'll get something out, hope you'll read it.
who else attended that, by the way?
I was on some of it. I didn't get to stay the whole time.
Okay, very quickly, the bridge is open in Perryville.
Now, these are your committee reports, or?
I
this-
have no committee report.
You have no committee reports, so you're doing a district report, okay.
Yeah. Watch for deer. They're in rut now, and I'm already getting calls. And immediately, you want to either use that 800 number, which apparently is not working very well. I had to call Dwayne, but this was on a state road, and he's taking care of it through the state. It was very disconcerting to learn on the national news this morning that Kentucky is only second to Alaska. And think how small a state we are. So proportionally, this is a very, very bad statistic. We have 167,000 people who could be working but are not working. And that's part of everything that we're talking about here on economic development, people in our staff positions around the county, and employment. Hopefully, since September ended the largesse coming from the federal government so that people were getting checks, now that that's ended, hopefully people are going to be applying for jobs. I talked at length this morning with Bill about the pads. They're coming in soon, and actually he said we need a vote on it. I thought we had given a blessing.
You mean iPads?
Yes.
Okay.
It'll be on the agenda in the next court session.
Excellent, okay, because even though I'm the least, I'll guarantee you, we're gonna love it. Phil, we will not have to fool with our dropped calls, because it's a separate line.
It is
and-
a different.
And it will also
That's great.
involve telephone conversation.
How many times have you and I talked that we could talk without being in?
It's terrible, it's just
You
terrible.
called this morning,
Yep,
and I didn't get the call, and I had my phone in my pocket, and it didn't ring.
and it's just a thrill to me that every service that we have now with these and with iPads will be fully paid every month so that we can have unlimited time. And I will learn, and I know he's gonna give us a seminar. Related to that, I asked him about this new Kentucky statute or regulation about those of us who are gonna register for re-election. It's a new and very complicated process. Bill's gonna research it, and I asked him if he would give us a seminar on it, because I'll guarantee you, it's gonna be hard to walk through. Judge, you said you'd heard something about it, or?
No.
Not, okay, that came up in our conference the other day. And the last, two more things. Crawford House, anything new?
Yes,
We're trying to get out of
I
here.
mean, I drove, last time I told you, a couple weeks prior to our last meeting, that I drove the plat and the deed to be
Frankfurt.
signed. So I wanted to expedite the process. And so I emailed this Natalie Bronner lady, said, hey, what's up? No response. Emailed her again. Emailed this guy named Will Adams, who's with the parks. Finally, I got something back from the Natalie Bronner, and it was just, what was this? On the 22nd of this month. And basically just said, I had sent for electronic review prior to routing. I think there were some minor changes to the deed. Let me circle back with some folks. Well, the thing is, they pretty much prepared the deed, so I don't know what's.
They're
just
wanting to change their own language.
So it's very frustrating, because I don't know what more more I can do other than you all talk to the people that you said you had talked to. Because, we get this done, and if they're gonna drag their feet on this, are they gonna drag their feet on potential buyers? Probably. I mean, it just doesn't seem like it's a very big priority whatsoever to them, and it's frustrating to me, because, even somebody the other day came in my office asking about purchasing that, and what.
We have at least 3
But
candidates.
There's this guy from Indiana who had a friend,
Yep.
or whatever, so it's very disheartening, it's frustrating, and I feel like.
Who can we contact? Because,
I'm gonna ask you and Phil to get with me, and we're gonna pinpoint somebody strategically in state government to contact and try to get this thing off.
Commissioner Parks is all with us, thanks to the judge, and.
Well, Judge, you and I talked to the director, remember?
Yeah, exactly, and Phil was involved in those conversations,
Phil.
and that's been 6 months ago.
Or
And the
longer.
judge and I were with the commissioner 2 months ago.
Phil, you may want to reach out to Rocky again.
That would be a key.
I think that's where we need to.
Phil, you can handle that with Rocky.
Okay.
I mean,
I talked to Rocky
he does not want
yesterday.
that historic property collapsing, and there's one wall that will collapse.
Rocky, you might wanna talk to Rocky in person. Rocky will be at our conference next week.
Yeah.
You and I'll talk to him.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I want to also, because
Good.
and you'll be at the conference, aren't you going? So,
Yeah, I mean, it's critical, it's gonna collapse. And the last thing I have, what have we heard about? We have won as a county the LEX feature area of the week. Do we know anything?
I thought it was just the city of Danville. Was it the county?
It's,
It's the city of Danville.
I wouldn't rest on that.
Earl is the contact person.
I know, but we're a county, and they want an EDA, and they wanna cooperate with us and we've done this, and said we have borders, and, the judge and I have said that in meetings. I would push on that, because we are a county, and we have features that the public needs to know about. That's economic development, that's tourism, that's the multi-million dollars, that we were shown.
44.1.
I'll be happy to involve myself in that.
Well, let us discuss it with the city and see, but right now, I understand that the recognition was to the city of Danville, not the county.
That's
Which
not
Boyle
been the
County-
case
which
in
Boyle
some of
County
the
is
others
part
that
of.
they've featured.
Which Boyle County's part of.
Well, I understand that. I understand that.
They have featured other communities, and they've gone countywide.
I'm sure the
'Cause I
city
watch
will do the right thing.
LEX all
Thank
the
you.
time.
Okay, well,
The impediment would be here,
the impediment would be where?
getting cooperation and collaboration we've been talking about.
Well, we'll see. Okay, anything else?
That's it.
All right. Mr. Gay, any committee reports?
I do not. I've been meeting on so many committees, I don't know which committee I'm on anymore. I don't have any
All
reports.
of the above.
Hey, if I'm on your committee, call me, will you?
That's right.
Okay, you got
No,
any
it's all good. No,
district reports, anything?
No, it's all
All
good.
right, Magistrate Cullen?
On October 12th, the EMS committee met, it was myself, Mike Rogers, Major Wesley, Bryant Mattingly, Jada, and Magistrate Kaywood, and then General Hunt joined us for a little bit as well. Student contract with Billy Holder. Contract won't be executed because Billy has requested to go part-time due to his wife's job. So we'll have one full-time spot open, which I think we just filled today. Part-time employees are still not working out like the director had hoped. So I think they're kind of, and that's one of the reasons why we kind of moved to the 12-hour shift. So we're stopped going down that road. E-dispatch is working and very beneficial over the weekend. We talked about the job description last court, I believe, from EMT to AEMT. The quick response team was approved last week by the Kentucky Board of EMS, and they hit the ground running at that point with 60 overdoses or drug-related injuries or illnesses between July 1 and October 12th. So they're really working. And then EC6.
What's that number again?
60 overdoses.
Gosh.
In a quarter of the year.
Yep. EC6 has front-end damage sustained from an accident last month. It is scheduled to be fixed on 10/25. And that is my report that I will go ahead and submit.
A motion to approve the report of the EMS committee. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Magistrate Ellis. Motion was made by Magistrate Cullen. Any discussion on the motion to accept the minutes from the committee? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Last night, I attended the city meeting for a little bit. Mayor Parrish was gracious enough to make me the Pledge of Allegiance person. So, I always say it, but when you have to lead it, you're like,
How do I start?
remember this one. So it was kind of interesting. But the big thing last night is that the city commissioners went ahead and approved the zone change for the distillery out on 52 Luca, which will be a huge benefit for our community and economic development. There was very lengthy discussion, but it is moving forward, and I'm very grateful. Francisco and those guys will
Approve what? I didn't get that.
they approved the zone change for
the
Luca.
distillery?
The distillery,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was
52.
actually approved in August.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it'd been approved a long time ago.
Yeah, by the by Steve's group, but it had kind of been pushed off for various reasons until last night. And so last night the commissioners that were present went ahead and approved it. It was a good discussion, and so I'm excited that's in our district, and I can see some big things happening that will be fantastic for our community.
Jason, was that not an additional group of acres that was added? They approved one earlier, and then I think he came back. Did he not come back and ask for additional acreage?
Well, the zone change was the zone change from agricultural to industrial, and the discussion last night was about a connector road that may go through. They've been talking about them since 2014, and it probably won't happen in the next 10 years. But it was a lively discussion last night.
Is that
The
the
status
farm?
of that stone structure that they were
Yes.
considering for a visitor center?
I know that according to my conversations with Francesco, they are going to do everything they can to help preserve that and incorporate it into the distillery.
That'd be wonderful.
So I've seen
That's
some.
a large farm on 52, just as you go out.
Right.
On the left there.
Yep,
On the
right,
left, yes.
right past, yeah. And someone had brought up a very significant piece that's probably one of the oldest pieces of property in Kentucky with the house there, and I really hope that they don't run a road right through it. So
I kind of hope they don't.
it'd be a shame.
Yeah.
So, and then I don't know how we do this, but maybe in closing, we've had a rough week in the community, so maybe we close with prayerful thoughts for all those that have had some.
I think that would be
some difficulties and let them know that we really are with them. And
without being specific, but in
Correct.
a broader term.
Correct.
I think it would be appropriate.
yes, so and I think I'm going to end it there. Watch out for trick-or-treaters on Saturday.
Yeah,
So-
be careful driving around the county. Counselor?
Just real quick, last time I was here, I was telling you I was gonna be doing the bourbon chase. I did it, and I didn't have to walk any. I was able to struggle through it and get through, but I did it, so I was really proud of myself for being able to accomplish that. Just wanna shout out to both Perryville, because we came into Perryville, and unfortunately I had to run out of Perryville, so I couldn't partake in all the good food that I smelled. I mean, they were smoking, pork butts, and there's just so much good food, but I had to actually run, so I couldn't eat and then run. That's not a good idea. So
Not a good idea.
So it was great. Just the community was out there. It was nice because we went through some other areas and I didn't see that support like I did in Perryville. And then again in Danville, it was nice as well. There's a lot of things going on to support the runners, and it was just a fun experience. And I encourage people to take part in it next year, whether you volunteer or you drive a van or you actually run. But just, shout out to Danville and Perryville for doing such a good job. Oh yes, and then the only, it's the bourbon run, but they had to reroute things this year, and you didn't go by any distilleries except for one, which is Wilderness Trail, and very nice what they did there. Emily Toadvine, we went in there, and she was very nice, and gave us some different little memorabilia from Wilderness Trail, and just welcomed everybody in there. So I thought that was pretty cool. That none of the other, the big distilleries, Maker's Mark
That's amazing.
or Wild Turkey, which I think is striking now, none of them participated in that. But our town, our local distillery actually participated, and that was great. So that's all I have to say.
Well, what I had heard about the bourbon chase after the fact was that we had a lot of participants from out of state, and I just would have loved to have been afforded the opportunity, maybe with either the mayor or myself, to welcome or to greet these people that have come into our community for this event, and I didn't know, nobody coordinated with me what might be the best time to do so or where it might be best served. But I just would like to have the opportunity next year, whoever is in charge of the bourbon chase event, to welcome everybody into Boyle County as part of the event.
I'll go ahead and give that feedback to Conventions Visitor Bureau is in the process of hopefully hiring a new director, and I think that's where that'll land.
Okay.
So I think that's good bit of feedback to. They start coming through at like 2:00.
And I know it's strung
spread
out.
all out, but
I know it's strung
you saw
out.
the party here on the front. Well,
Yeah.
the party on the front, and then you guys had a party in the parking lot too with your porta potties. But yeah, I'll go ahead and ask.
I just think it'd be important either for the
Tim
mayor or
to
myself to be able to
put that on for the
there.
CVB to
Yeah.
make sure that we're incorporated. But it was great. It was actually my last day working at the hub, and it's it takes about 2 weeks to prep for that one single night as a restaurant, and it was kind of bittersweet as my last one, but it was a blast, and people coming through, and we're just loving that everyone was open and they had all things going on for them. So
I thought you'd already had your chance to talk.
sorry.
I thought you'd already had your chance to talk.
Oh, I call this my Phil moments.
All right, Bill, how about you? You got
I
any
had
committee
some-
reports?
No committee reports.
Okay.
I had coffee ready for the council, and I seen him walking by. I never did see him running.
Well, I ran right. You may have been taking your nap at that point.
Adding to what Jason made a comment a while ago about adjourning, we have a gentleman that's in the hospital. I don't know where he survived last night or not, that all of you know real well. We've had him here and honored him, Paul Chandler.
Yeah.
Would be 103 years old, the 5th.
Hope he recovers from.
Yes, you know about it probably.
Yes.
He fell, broke his hip, and was in the hospital. And
Is he here in Lexington? Do you know?
He's here.
He's here.
Yes, sir. So just keep him in mind. Keep him in your prayers. He'd be 103 the 5th if he should survive. But sad way things happen. Fell out the bowling alley going in for lunch.
I'll be daggone.
So just an accident that stumbled, So one of the sweetest, finest people I ever met, and I've gone to know over the years. So sad.
Yeah, we have an award in his honor named
Yes, we
after
do.
him for veterans in Boyle County.
Judge, I'm glad you brought that up. Maybe we need to discuss this privately, but
Yeah, I think-
we had
let's do.
another person.
Let's do, and I'm aware of who
You know what I'm talking
Yes,
about.
sir. Let's just do it privately so
Yes.
we can surprise
Yes,
a
yes,
potential
yes. I don't want to
recipient.
mention the name, but let's do that right away.
Okay. Magistrate Kaywood, it's your turn. You got any committee
Well,
reports?
I'll have one informal just a minute. I want to comment on the Bourbon Trail chase. I thought exactly what you did. And unfortunately, I'm going to refer it to as another missed opportunity.
It was.
It was another missed opportunity. The time that I drove down and there was a ton of people downtown. Absolutely wonderful to see all these folks. you had a DJ there who was playing music in Whisker Park. And I thought how great it would be if the mayor and the judge would take the microphone and just say, stop the music. I want to welcome you all to Danville, Boyle County. Hope you'll come back. Just some way to say,
Absolutely. We missed an
thank you for
opportunity.
coming. If you got questions, ask us, because I bet no other place they went did that.
John,
So I would suggest
Did we
that
do
be
that
considered.
once? Didn't we have
You know,
that?
I don't remember,
We had
Phil,
something
but
out there, and I know maybe some of us even had some of us speak and welcome also.
well, it's,
You remember?
you know, when you get people in from out of town and you welcome them back,
Yeah.
we missed it at Brass Band, in my opinion.
Yes, we did.
Opportunity to talk to people and welcome them back, ask them to come back. So I'm glad you brought that up, sir, because I felt the same thing. As you all know, and you all were very much, and this is not really a committee report, but y'all were involved in the hiring of a new treasurer. The process was that you didn't probably know is that we set up 3 interviews. 2 came, and they were interviewed, and obviously I'm not gonna give you the names. But that went well, and I appreciate all those who participated, and Jamie, you were kind of thrown in, but I appreciate you. And I'm turning the Personnel Committee back over to Ron Short now as chair, and let him run that. Judge, you might
No, it
wanna
ran
say
pretty well this
something.
time.
Sir?
I said, I don't know, it ran pretty well this time.
Well, I had good help with Jamie and those others involved, the judge and Julie and everybody was involved. Judge, you want to say anything about the event on November 10th?
Yeah, if you don't mind. On November 10th, the Garden Club of Danville has graciously requested an opportunity to honor all who have served in our armed forces and are serving today with the dedication of a monument that they have acquired for Blue Star families, okay? Blue Star is those, it's a long-standing recognition of those who have served and are serving in our military. Gold Star are those that have succumbed to events while they were in military service. And this is not the Gold Star, this is the Blue Star. And Martha has coordinated with me and I really want the entire court to be at this dedication. It'll be on the front lawn near the Veterans Military Monument that is out there right now to the left by our flagpole out front of the courthouse. On November 10th, I believe, John, if I don't have it in front of me, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
It's either 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
thinking
saying-
1, but I could be wrong about that.
The 10th, the day before
The
Veterans
10th,
Day.
it's before.
I think you announced
One.
before that it was.
It's 1.
Okay.
Missy
One.
knows.
One.
Missy says 1, so I'll.
1 o'clock. We'll go with Missy's.
We'll go with Missy.
Missy will text us and remind us about the day before.
And I'll call you.
Well,
She's good about that.
Somebody call Phil.
Somebody call me, yes. Judge call me. I'd rather you call me.
Okay.
go ahead, if you got more to say.
No, I'm looking for an excellent turnout for an excellent purpose and reason to recognize another aspect of recognizing the service of all those who have served in our armed forces.
I will tell you, Mr. Chandler was part of he was on the agenda and scheduled to help, and that's up in the air. Well, it's not gonna happen now. She got word last night, so I'm very sad about that because
He is not passed, has he?
No. Got word of the
Judge,
fall and that he's in, and so.
Yeah.
Jim's not gonna be, I don't think he'll be able to be there. I hope he can, but I don't.
Let's hope that he can, or pray that he
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Judge,
But,
the situation.
We hated to see him not be able to be honored, and he was part of the ceremony.
He had, if you'd allow me, he'd come to.
You had your turn.
He did real well, thank you, sir. The surgery, and they talked to the 2 boys.
Yeah.
And had a good conversation with them. And then the next day, he was a little out of it, kind of. And then the third day after his surgery, he was talking out of his head, kind of. And he said, "What's those monkeys doing on that windowsill?" And stuff like that. And then he went in kind of like a deep sleep.
Well, hopefully that.
And they can't get him back out.
With time, it can recover from those.
Gosh, I hope he does, yeah.
We hope so. If anybody wants more information on it, I've got a couple of pamphlets here. The last thing, sir, and this is just for point of information. I heard on the radio Senator McConnell was speaking, and anyway, I'm real happy about it, and I want to share it with y'all. The Bluegrass chapter of the Honors Flight is getting ready to get cranked up again.
Great,
And
great news.
It means a whole lot to those who've been there. It's a great program, and they're gonna start it again from what the radio message was. So I just wanted information for you. So.
That's excellent. Did
Good,
he
yeah,
say
thank
when
you.
he hopes to
No, but they're
Back this?
working to they're going back out after sponsors, and there's some, it's quite a program. It's not easily put together, but it means a whole lot to those who have served, that opportunity and what it means to you. So, just wanted to give you a point of information.
It was the best day of my father's life. That's what he said before he died.
Does anybody have anything else? What I would like to do is take this opportunity before we entertain a motion to adjourn with the recommendations that have been presented to us. I would like to acknowledge for those watching us on YouTube channel that today is our acting treasurer's birthday, Jackie Richardson, and is also Magistrate John Kaywood's birthday today. And like Magistrate Ellis said, if you combine their ages, they wouldn't average Social Security. So, but anyway, I just want to wish both of them a very happy birthday and congratulations. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
And Miss Julie, who was Friday.
Yeah. And Miss Julie's, who was Friday.
Yes.
Who had a big party in Cincinnati. Do you have any remarks about Cincinnati?
Bengals.
Who
day?
Hey, who day? That's all there is.
Who day?
Yeah.
Who day?
Can't tell it, can you?
No, I go a couple times a year and spend a day with about 15 senior citizens, and we make cards and laugh. And for those of you that know, I ran out of gas on my way to California, so for my birthday, they gave me a gas can and a membership to AAA.
All right, all right.
AAA, I've been a member for years. Best money you can spend.
If procedurally, if somebody will make a motion to adjourn in second, then I will state the motion before our gavel is closed.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made to adjourn by Magistrate Cullen, seconded by Magistrate Gay. All right, gentlemen, we want to adjourn. Ladies, we want to adjourn today in honor of those families and those individuals throughout our county that have experienced great loss and trauma through some recent events. And we pray that they be comforted in their recovery and moving forward each and every day, and that we honor those that have passed by this action. In closing today's court session, we want to remember those families going forward and provide that emotional support where we can in each and every case. And we thank all of those first responders that have been involved in these traumatic events throughout the county to make things the best they could be given the circumstances that were before them. So with that being said, move forward, and we stand adjourned in memory of those that have passed this week recently.